Tana, Gambian talents, Alekano, Yenyala Mandia, Apachaki, Alaboy Nyancho, Jollof Arts.
La ilaha Gambia, Gambian talent, ala barika. La ilaha Gambia, Gambian talent, ala barika. La ilaha Gambia, Gambian talent, ala barika. La ilaha Gambia, Dawda Jawara barika. Gambia man la jalima di yena nge setan Gambian talent fila de bu len bay fi de fila affaire yi nek tete ñi na Leila sanani kanilma kanitulo na firula baba duda ni kanilma kanunyo kanabula molu noma molu mambetea
Iba kuriya munna nafate kuriyala Iba jawya munna nafate jawya labi Iba kuriya munna nafate kuriyala Nafigi la sila manja Kula bambali la sila manja Uya fala la sila manja Ngomari masale bokelela Nafigi la sila manja Jakula bambali la sila manja Uya fala la sila manja Muna ngomari masale bokelela Yo Gambia antalam albadi malam nena jeli suso njele bari janto bi Gambian talent show mamo be tantalam mal jayla albadi malam the queen of manding nena jeli suso the golden voice wow mal tantalam mal jayla baki papa la ko albumo kanala ko ndi ko petri no mashallah Gambian talent show.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching or listening to us from. You are following the Gambian Talents TV. This is your favorite show, the Nyohobai show, brought to you by Gambian Talents, Pa Usman Diouf, as I do every time. I promised you guys yesterday that I will be having the Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta of the APRC. He is currently in our studios in the Gambia. We start by apologizing for the late start of the show, and of course thank the Honorable Fabakary, of course, for honoring our invitation first, as well as the time he took to come over, as well as his patience. He's been there for over an hour now, just trying to help us figure out some of the things that we were faced with. I apologize for the inconvenience. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for following Gambian Talents TV. Funyu waidi seta nechinyenete kwenye aduna penku harpungopu walangalandu. We greet you in the spirit of Gambianism. This is Pa Usman Diouf, and I am glad to have Mr. Jatta in our studios. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Pa Usman.
How are you?
It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm glad to host you live in our studios for the first time. We have had some interviews in the past, but that was over the phone. Over the years, for the first time, we have you at the Gambian Talent Studio, and you've been very patient with us. Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Thank you.
The Nyohobai show, I do it. I welcome people who have contributed a lot to our country's development, people who are still contributing towards the development of the Gambia, names that we often hear and don't know much about. You hear Fabakary Tombong Jatta, he is associated with the APRC. Fabakary Tombong Jatta is associated with the National Assembly of the Gambia. But then there is another side of Fabakary. On the Nyohobai show, I start with somebody's childhood and family life. If you were to tell us who Fabakary Tombong Jatta is, where you are from, where you grew up, I think it will be important for people to know. Journalists will always call you and saturate your mind with questions or bombard you with questions about issues happening that you need to address. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I was born in Albreda, Opanyomi district of the North Bank of the Republic of the Gambia. Around in the 50s, around 90, I was born in 1952 to be specific. I moved to Talinding about the same period, about a year or two later, with my mother. Because what happened, I lost my dad. I didn't know my dad actually. Immediately he gave birth, I passed away. My mother married one of our relatives who moved to Talinding to be the imam. And that's where I grew up until school going age. I went back to Albreda when they started the school in 1959-60. 1964, at Primary 4, I went to Armitage, Senior Armitage High School in Georgetown. And then up to 1970, when I graduated after doing my O-levels, I went to the Gambia Teacher Training College, 1970-73, and graduated as a qualified teacher. And I was posted to teach at junior secondary schools around the Gambia and to specifically mathematics, because whilst at college I specialized in mathematics. And I taught at Bansan Junior Secondary School for 4 years, and then I moved to Crab Island Junior Secondary School for two and a half years when I resigned to join the private sector. That's the Nigeria Airways. And I rose the ladder to become the district accountant of Nigeria Airways, the first non-Nigerian district accountant ever in working for the Nigeria Airways. I had a lot of training programs in Nigeria.
Can you look at my camera, sir? Can you look up while you are talking, sir? Can you look up, face the camera,
okay,
and look?
All right.
Yes. Thank you.
I am sorry about that. Yeah. So as I said, I became the first district accountant of Nigeria Airways, the ever non-Gambian, non-Nigerian district accountant actually, following some trainings in Nigeria. And then until I joined politics in 1996, I was elected the first regional APRC chairman of KMC.
Okay.
And then by January 1997, I was elected as an MP for Serekunda East. And I became the Dex officer for the Katifi municipality also. There I was at Parliament, and then until about 2007, when I became the majority leader of the National Assembly, to April of 2017. And I have been one of the members who led the Gambian delegation to the establishment of the Pan-African Parliament in 2004, if I remember well. And I've been a member of that institution until I left Parliament in 2017. And at the time, I was the chairman of the West African Caucus of the Pan-African Parliament, meaning chairman of all West African parliamentarians at the Pan-African Parliament.
So you are a Nyomenka, right? That's why the Jarankas are so hard on you. Yes. No wonder the Jarankas are so hard on you, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'm a Nyominka in all forms. My mother, my father, we are all Nyominkas here. Yeah, but Jarankas, remember, they are our sons, so we don't bother much about them.
Good to hear. So you work, you never work as a civil servant until you get into politics, if I hear you, or you work as a teacher, right?
Yeah, I worked as a teacher from when I qualified in 1973 to 1979.
Okay, 1973 to 1979. Okay. And then you work for the Nigerian Airways, you said?
Yeah, from that time up to the time I joined politics, I rose the ladder to become the district accountant of Nigeria Airways.
Okay.
Which position no other foreign national held it except me.
Okay, that's good to know.
Usually, the director and the finance accountant are usually Nigerians who are posted to the office.
So how was that like working in Nigeria? How was that like? How were you received?
Very interesting. The beauty about it is that at the time, I chose to leave the government services because there were a lot of stress on me. I will either be removed or dismissed from service. Because then, even when I was in Bansang Junior Secondary School, I remember very well, I was teaching mathematics and, of course, civics. And I was taken to correct, for instance, for making certain remarks at the time my students. Okay. I was recalled from Bansang to Banjul, you know, and a lot of things happened. I was more or less a critic of the then government.
Well, okay.
But not necessarily, I was never a member of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why?
I thought it wise to leave the public service and go to the private.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. What makes you choose politics? Why politics? How did you get into politics all of a sudden?
Actually, if you know my history, I have been very keen in politics, but I had never thought that I would be an active politician. You know, I have been very concerned about how governance is done, the care of the politicians or leaders about the people they lead, etc. You know, it had been my concern, but I had never once thought that myself I would be an active politician. You know, it was situational in Talinding in 1996 when some people, together with some friends, pressurized me to join politics. Then I never thought that I would be a politician.
Okay, you said you used to be a critic of the previous government. I will take that to be Jawara's government, right?
Yes, please.
Why were you a critic of the government? What were they doing that you didn't like?
You know, if you even remember, when we talk about democracy, remember I was taken to court. My wife, my cousin brother, and the wife. For me, going to register at Albreda. Remember that?
Okay.
There was a high-profile court case here. Then I was in the private sector.
Why were you taken to court? What was your offense?
Because I went to register in Albreda.
Okay, which is your birthplace, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the then minister himself, resident here, goes with his family to go and register at Sika, their village.
Okay. How did that court case end?
You know what happened was I have a brother who used to participate in politics in the NCP then, and he was once a candidate, and we used to support him. You know, and I I think that those were the things used. I was not easy to handle. So to put me down, they had a lot of things.
Okay. So how did that court case end? How did that court case ended?
The court actually, as I said, when he came to my wife's turn, who had never had a voter's card at the time, the court was the charge was just withdrawn against her. Interesting. And then for our own, we went on, and the judge then was one group. He went on leave. A Nigerian came over. When the case came up again, it was thrown out.
Okay.
When it was thrown out, we went home. We were picked the following day again and charged again. But that's where it ended. Go report, go come until it faded away.
Okay. So you never were charged or prosecuted for it, right? It was just dropped. Eventually, you were not convicted.
We were prosecuted.
But you were not convicted.
We were prosecuted.
Okay.
No, we were not convicted. We were prosecuted, and the case was thrown out.
Okay. So what about was that the reason why you became critical of the Jawara government, or were there other reasons?
No, that was not the reason. There were reasons. I had thought that the greatest opportunity, let me thank them for taking the country to independence, that which appreciated. But then my thoughts were that they had the greatest advantage move the Gambia forward. You know? And, but what I observed then was it was more of lip service and working on the ignorance of the ordinary folk of the Gambia.
Okay.
When they could have done by far what they had done. They had cried, they were called the champions of democracy and all these things. All those things to me were a fake to a limit. Because as I said, I was here, and I remember very well when elections were being conducted and headed by the local government ministry, the permanent secretary. I remember very vividly and very well when voters' cards were prepared in my own presence by PPP stalwarts in my presence. Let me emphasize that. And the photographs are just stamped in their names written, and somebody thumbprints it, and the voters' cards are put in bags in my presence. You know, but all those period, those elections were free and fair. Everything was perfect. But I had
why are you saying that? Did people know that those things happen? They happen in your presence. Did you do anything to correct the situation, or to address it, or to bring it out to the public?
Yeah, but you know, the only thing we can do is to be critical of it.
Okay.
Like I told you, I have been a big critic.
Okay.
If you come to Talinding, you come to Serekunda is then during those days, ask them. Following the 1981 coup, if not the 1981 coup, I had told them we are going to remove the PPP candidate in Serekunda is then.
Okay.
You know, so what I'm saying is, I was not satisfied. My family, my sisters, my mother, they were die-hard PPP. Very.
Okay.
I did everything possible. I could not move them, nor could they also move me.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, okay.
But not that I hated the party. Just that I wanted them to do better than what they were doing, to be real to the people, to help people, to move the state.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's move on to the next thing. You got into politics. You say you started as a what? As a councillor?
No. I started, I know, in 96, when the APRC was formed, at the Congress in KMC, I was elected the first regional chairman.
Regional chairman, okay.
APRC regional chairman for Kanifing municipality. Then in January of 1997, I was elected an MP for Serekunda East.
Okay.
And at the same year, I was also I also served as desk officer.
Okay.
Meaning head of all the National Assembly members within the Kanifing municipality.
Okay, before we talk about this, the junta, 1994, of course, you were not happy with the Jawara government. The junta came, and Yaya and Sadibou Sana, all of them, they took over from Jawara. How did you feel about this?
Yeah. I embraced immediately. I was just out for it.
So you embraced it. You were okay with you were okay with coup d'etat.
Yes. I was not okay with a coup d'etat, but it was the best we could have done at the time to make sure that I was there.
But it is illegal to do coup d'etat, to seize the power of the people. The people voted Jawara in, and then Yaya and Sadibou Sana and all of them came and took over the government. I mean, you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, it is illegal. It is unconstitutional. That's why when you go to attempt it, it's a treasonable offense. You have two options: you either succeed, or the alternative would be you are out, you run away, or you are dead, or you are in prison.
Yeah, but what is wrong is wrong, Mr. Mr. Jatta. What is wrong is wrong.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, what is wrong is wrong. You were okay though. You said that was the only possible option. Now I will bring you fast forward.
Yes.
During the 22 years rule of Yaya Jammeh, we had 8 coup attempts, as far as I know. Now, those coup attempts, people said that was the only option available at the time. What is your reaction to that?
Yeah, I respect their opinion. They were unfortunate that they were not successful.
Okay.
You know, the bad side is they were not successful.
Okay. So you're okay with what ended up happening? Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say here is the coup d'etats are not good in whatever form. They are not good.
Okay.
But the people are forced to take the last resort because of certain unbearable situations.
The same circumstance now, is what forced the same circumstance that propelled Yaya Jammeh and his boys or men to do the coup d'etat were the same circumstances that compelled every other coup attempt that took place starting from November 11.
Yeah, I mean that is subject to a lot of discussions. What I'm trying to say here is yes, some may be genuine, for others, so it may be cooked up. It may be a lot of things. What I'm trying to say here is, when you attempt a coup and you fail, you should be willing to pay the price.
Okay.
When you attempt a coup and you succeed, you may get the blessing of the people depending on what you do.
Okay.
Because even after the coup, people may revolt against you.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, the coup d'etat is not an option, and it's not the best option.
Okay.
But the only way we can avoid or minimize or use coup d'etats is to have transparent elections, credible and transparent periodic elections. And then people must then respect the verdict of the people if it doesn't match yours.
Okay. Fair enough.
All what we should ensure is it should be credible, it should be transparent.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, the formation of APRC, you were there at the inception, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that from AFPRC, from actually the junta, they came in, Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, to the AFPRC and then APRC. Tell us about that transition.
Let's remember that 94 to the 96, prior to election, the formation of political parties and elections, that was the period of only the military.
Military, yes.
Then there were no...
The decree, yes. That was the time they had
parties.
The decree and they banned the PPP, the NCP, and all those parties, yes.
Yeah, all political parties were then banned.
Banned,
The constitution was suspended.
Yes, and we were operating, yes, with a decree,
Yeah, they were ruling by decrees. Okay? We have to get that very clear.
Yes.
Because people ascribe that place, that period, as APRC, when an APRC was not in existence.
Well, you know? it is what gave birth to APRC, though. That's what gave birth to APRC. Don't you think that's why people attribute it to it?
It gave birth to APRC. Yeah, but it was not APRC during that time. There was no APRC. It gave birth to APRC, and it's only when you give birth that you have a child. So, yeah.
And the parent is responsible. The parent is responsible for the child, huh? Anyway.
Yes, agree. Agree.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I want to say here is that period was more is for the soldiers.
Okay.
You know, the soldiers took over the country, and then the soldiers were ruling, and they are away all other instruments like the constitution, they were ruling by decree to move forward. You know, and that's where you had the November 11th incident, just 5 months. But what I'm trying to say here is that that period of the junta was what led to people appreciating them until they become politicians.
Okay.
Because those were difficult days. And what their achievements within those 2 years and the perception they gave Gambians made Gambians believe that yes, we can have change. When we put in these young people as politicians, they will definitely impact on the lives of our Gambian people. That motivated people to ask them to come back to contest on elections. You know.
Okay.
So it was during the period, you know, if you remember, we had the 97 constitution, all these things. We had a referendum. Some of us were very active in those things because we want to make sure that we move into civilian government, and that there were moves then that some people don't want the electorates to support the 1997 constitution.
Constitution, okay.
You know. Yeah. So some of us have took it upon ourselves. Moved around.
Look into my camera, sir. Look into the camera, sir, while you are talking. Okay.
All right. Okay.
So you were there at the formation of the APRC. How was that day?
Well, the formation. You mean the people who sat over it?
No, yeah, the day that APRC was launched as a party, or first Congress, or whatever, the first time that APRC actually came into existence. Of course, some people might have done the logistics, the groundwork to put it together. Now, the day, were you there on the actual day that APRC was launched as a party?
Yes, since APRC was named,
okay,
program, I am there.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. It's good for people to know, the younger generation.
I became the first video chairman at KMC.
Okay. Okay. So where did anybody oppose you, or did nobody oppose you? You were unopposed for that position.
I have in the chairmanship.
Yes,
of the APRC.
in the chairmanship.
Yes, we had candidates.
Okay.
There were some candidates. And then we went into elections and I won.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Okay. So you rose through the ranks. You say you became a National Assembly member for Serekunda East. What year did you become, were you elected?
January 97.
You're 97, okay.
January 1997.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
January of 97, I became a member of Parliament for Serekunda East, and the same period I was taken as the desk officer for KMC.
Okay, and what was the role of a desk officer? And
I coordinate the region at Parliament.
Okay, fair enough.
The head of the parliamentarians coming from that region.
Okay.
Coordinating.
Let me ask you this: did you know Yaya Jammeh prior to you getting into politics in '96? Of course, while he was a soldier or a military guy, or before '96, actually '94, between '94 and '96. Did you know him prior to you getting into politics in '96, or you didn't know him?
No, I've never known. I never knew him before.
You never knew Yaya Jammeh?
I never knew him before.
Oh, okay.
No.
What, I mean, '96. Then all parties were the ban was lifted. It gave birth to the UDP, the NRPs, the of course Doi came back, and who else was there? All these other parties that came back, new parties that came. Why APRC? Why did Fabakary choose APRC out of all the other parties that came into being?
You know, the APRC, it came with one. As I said, I was myself taught by the achievements within this period of 2 years. You know,
what was achieved in the first 2 years? What did the APRC achieve, Fabakary?
Yes, in the first 2 years, there were a lot of things that happened.
Okay, let me know.
You know, there are a lot of things that happened infrastructure-wise.
I'm counting.
You know,
I'm counting.
For us in the North Bank, for us in the North Bank, we never had macadamized road. We had it from Barrow to Terawan. Remember?
Yes. I remember that road.
A lot of you see, if you read through them, you see a lot of seriousness and enthusiasm in them to move.
Yeah, but you just told me, I asked you what are the achievements that APRC registered in the first 2 years. The junta rather. Tell me, you just mentioned the Barrow Kerawan road.
Yeah, they started building schools, high schools. Remember, there were no government senior secondary schools in this country. Not one government senior secondary school built from throughout the period of PPP. The only government senior secondary school was Armitage High School, built in 1927. Senegal, Gambia High, Nusrat, Muslim High, St. Joseph's, we are not government senior secondary schools.
Okay.
So you can imagine a government in power for 30-something years, we could not build one senior secondary school. We had only then we up to 94, we had only about 12 senior secondary schools in the Gambia.
Yeah, but Mr. Jatta, Honorable Jatta, I've heard you made this argument. I've heard you made this argument on several occasions. What do you say to the suggestion that
you want by yes, go ahead.
What do you say to the suggestion that even though government did not build any high school, as you are putting it, but then the caliber, the level of students or graduates that the Gambia high schools produce is far better than what all the different you mentioned. I think you can help me with the numbers. How many schools your government built in the 22 years that you rule? But then what do you say to the suggestion that the students did better after graduating from high school, were better educated than they did in the 22 years that you guys ruled? So what is the purpose of those schools?
You see, let's be honest. Big students were those who were students. Because remember, we had only 12 secondary schools for all Gambian youths who were leaving primary 6 to go to high school.
Okay.
12 altogether. And most of our people are coming to Greater Banjul area here to compete in the very limited places they had. Very limited. And more often than not, is those who are in positions of power whose kids get access to it most fast. Whether they have got the qualification or not, you know that. So it means you're leaving out a high number of people outside. You are only getting the cream. And therefore, you definitely see performance.
But Honorable Jatta, you guys built all those schools, but then what happened to, the schools? You build schools, there are no teachers. You build schools, there are no furniture. You build schools, there are no other labs or other things that they needed to actually do the work. Until this minute, and I'm saying this because we have evidences of these things, where schools in the Gambia are virtually almost empty. The teachers are demonstrating now based on all the problems that they had over the years. Now that they have the opportunity to demonstrate, that's why they're coming out.
I am saying no to that. That is not correct.
Okay, go ahead. Convince us.
Schools, first of all, let's be honest here. As I said, we don't want to. We don't want people to talk to people alike to them.
Okay.
Now, what I'm saying is, the APRC schools we built are first-class. First, we put away the mud buildings. At the time of the takeover, if you remember, children were taking their tables and chairs to school here in the Gambia. That was one of the reasons, and the sale of water that led to the military takeover in '94. People were taking, students were taking their chairs and tables to school. We cannot deny these things. So what I'm saying is, it is when the APRC came, we built the solid foundations, story building schools, first-class schools, put in furniture. Every school program goes with furniture. You don't build a school, contract it out without furniture.
Fair enough. That is a good achievement. That is a good achievement, sir. But then, I mean, besides the furniture, the teachers were not there. You look at not only the schools, but even the hospitals, a lot of the infrastructure that you guys built, you only provided the infrastructure, but the other things that it comes with, it was still the same. The morals of the teachers were not there. We barely had Gambian teachers, I mean, throughout that period. That is the time. By the way, I went to school during the APRC era. I went to school during the APRC era.
Yeah,
I started primary school. I started primary school in 1990 in Farafenye. And I graduated from St. Augustine's in 2002. So the 12 years I have been in this thing is only the first 4 years. Yeah, so I did a little bit of the Jawara time, and the rest, of course, during APRC.
You never experienced much. Yeah, you were lucky that you were able to get those things during the APRC. If you were during the PPP, you know, have gone to St.
Yeah, no, but our education is not the same as you guys' time.
Let me give you statistics, please. I'm not giving you fake statements. I'm giving you statistics. I want you to be aware of that. What I'm trying to let you know is even teacher education. Teacher education. At the time when AFPRC was taking over, only 34% of teachers were Gambians. 34%.
Okay.
The number increased, and that the whole circle was transformed to a level where we have about 60 to 70% of current teachers and Gambians now, at all levels, at all cadres. So what I'm trying to say here is let's appreciate things.
And I agree with you that we should be able to agree and take things from where we stop, definitely. There's no doubt that you have brought in the infrastructure, got education accessible, got a lot of Gambians in the remotest part of the country, you get them more access to education. But the quality wasn't the same. So what is your reaction to the suggestion or some of the people who recommend? What is your reaction to the people who are saying that you could have improved, instead of building another 20, 30, 40 schools, you could have actually improved some of the existing ones and add a few more? Give the teachers better pay, for example, add provide libraries, provide laboratories and other technology and stuff that, of course, the kids will be able to use to be able to do better academically, rather than just building the infrastructure and saying we build 30 schools, 40 schools, 50 schools. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah. You see, even when we are talking about this, we are all part of the school system. Schools had libraries. Primary schools. Look at when I was an MP, I was a member of the Education Select Committee. We used to make tours of schools, know the problems in schools. So those who sit on the fence and talk what they want to talk and what really is happening, they don't know. Yes, they can say whatever they want to say. But let's accept this fact that first you must have access. Access to education. Why should we have all the schools in the Greater Banjul area when some of our people in the provinces will have to move their kids to Banjul to get them educated? Are they not Gambians?
But then why not improve some of the ones that were existing? Why not improve some of the ones that were existing in the provinces? Let me tell you. So you had in the whole of North Bank no senior secondary school, not one, not one. What are you going to improve? Build one in Farafenye, like they ended up doing, huh?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Not one. So when you improve on something, people must have 1, 2, 3, and you improve on it.
But there were other schools in Farafenye, though. The Farafenye Secondary School was there. The ATC was there. Anglican Training Center. There were a few institutions in Farafenye. There was senior secondary. My sisters went to that school. The Farafenye Secondary.
Senior secondary school in Farafenye.
No, secondary school. It was in. It was in senior secondary, but secondary school. I remember fully what I'm saying.
I am a trained teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And
Anyway,
I've been in the system.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get away from education. We go to the health sector.
What I'm trying to say, this adage of let's try to improve the quality rather than bringing in numbers. It's good. We always strive to add quality.
Okay.
To improve on quality. Always. But there are, if you are to be honest to ourselves, we must begin to redistribute the wealth of the nation to every corner of the country.
Okay.
People must have access.
Okay, fair enough. Now let's go back to APRC still, the health sector. I know you will tell me the hospitals that you guys built, starting with our own town. By the way, I'm from Farafenni. I'm from North Bank like yourself. I am a witness. This is not something somebody explained to me. When I was growing up in Farafenni, or whenever I went there for holidays and stuff, APRC came there, or government came there on Meet the President or on other occasions. And I have seen some of the hospitals room. I'm saying this because we were young at the time and we were involved in the process. They will send us Demlen Yobulgai and Demlen Defli, Demlen Jelikele. I went to the hospital and I saw some of the rooms in the hospital being used like kind of like a guest room for some of the people who were on a tour with the president. And this was supposed to be a hospital that should house patients. And what I'm trying to get at is this hospital was built and almost half of the hospital was used as guest room for government workers or government officials who came to visit Farafenni on official duties instead of being used to carry out daily health or hospital related functions. What is your reaction to that? Duluma kenne tell de.
Yeah, I you see, for national development, it should be our collective responsibility. You know, Farafenni has a money. I want to say this. In the preparation of the president's talk, nobody dared to show that you are going to have accommodation for people in a hospital.
Well, it did happen. Like I said, this is me participating in it.
If it does happen, now that becomes you and the person. I am in the hospital, I have a friend, or I have a group, I am doing it when I know that it's not happening.
I'm telling you, guests of the president's entourage, the people that came with the president, that is something that was arranged before you guys go for tour.
No, what I'm telling you is, let me make this very clear. In the tour of the president, people we don't engage hospitals.
I'm not saying okay. Let me say this. It wasn't. I'm not expecting you guys to engage the hospital. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is.
Let me tell you one thing.
What I'm trying to say is you must have had some arrangements made as to where people are going to stay when they come there. Logistics, you will have an advanced team probably that will prepare the logistics. These people are going to stay here. These people are going to stay here, working in collaboration with the local governments and the citizens or the council, area council, or whoever it is that you work with. But some preparations were made, and the team might have been aware that, okay, some of the guests are going to be lodged at the hospital. And this wasn't only during the president's tour, but during other institutions. During listen. No, let me say this. Lodging people at the hospital, I hope it's going to be the residences of doctors or staff. No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hospital was just there with very little medical equipment. Over half of the hospital was not being used. The rooms were just there. And eventually, because they have empty rooms that were freshly made, the hospital was looking very nice. We were all proud of it. But then they will use these rooms to actually lodge some of the guests that the president came with. And even outside of that, occasionally, when other government officials came, they stayed at the hospital. But you finally came from the beginning. You finally came to see Farafenni Hospital, is it? Yes, it's been over 15 years. I have not been there because I now live in the US. You have Nyomikas who have headed the institution. You have North Bankers who have headed the institution. They asked about them. It's one of the lead hospitals in the Gambia. Okay. It's one of the lead hospitals in the Gambia. Look,
University of the Gambia. When we started the university, some doubting pharmacists were saying it is not workable, it's not going to happen, etc., etc. We sailed through it.
Okay.
When we you can't have in Gambia the colonial hospitals of Bansang and the Royal Victoria Hospital. Farafenya of the North Bank should have a hospital.
Fair enough. Let's get away from that for a minute. We have a lot. We have a lot to talk about.
Don't you think?
I don't want to go into that is fair enough. It's good that North Bank has a hospital. Yes, at the beginning we had the Farafenya. We had the Farafenya. You know what I'm saying is, at the beginning we only had the Farafenya Health Center, and of course referrals were always sent to RVTH all over. I remember there, my sisters worked there, and I know a lot of people. The hospital ambulance was always going to Banjul every day. Sometimes it was very hard to even have. You get to Barrow and the terminal, the ferry has closed for the night. But then that's not what I'm talking about now.
Remember then there were 2 ferries.
Yes. So let's forge ahead. Yes. So let's forge ahead. We have a lot of things to talk about. You were telling us about your involvement in the National Assembly. You rose through the ranks, and starting with being the NAM for Serekunda East. During the 22 years of APRC, what are some of those success stories you can tell us? Your National Assembly was seen as or called as a rubber stamp National Assembly. It was looked at as a rubber stamp National Assembly by a lot of people. What do you say to that allegation?
I don't know when you say by a lot of people. You know, before you can assume or believe that an assembly is a rubber stamp assembly, you go to see and know how it functions.
Okay. I am telling you, these are things that I don't think this is the first time you are hearing this, Honorable. Is it the first time you are hearing it?
I hear it. What I'm now, a fair comment, I always hear it from people. But what I'm saying is, before you can comment and say that an assembly is a rubber stamp assembly, you must know the operations, and you go to the assembly to see operations.
Okay.
Because I just want to give you an insight, and I am sure those technicians who pass through the assembly would know that was never a rubber stamp assembly. Honestly, I'm telling you. You know, the difference here is why people call it a rubber stamp when a bill comes to Parliament. Usually you have 3, 4, very little arguments over it, and the bill is passed. But what people fail to know is that in the assembly, for us as APRC, and me as leader of the APRC group, before any bill comes to be tabled in Parliament, it comes through the APRC caucus. And the minister responsible and his technicians come to meet the APRC, what we call in-house cleansing. Ask the ministers and some of the technicians. It is number two hell. I'm telling you. People are open to be critical, to look at it, to remove, to defend, whatever. To look at it, and then whatever we finally agree on, that bill has to be amended that way, and then it be brought to Parliament. So those amendments, those critics, those or inputs are not known. People have not seen the assembly over it. But the ministers and the technicians know what went.
Well, but then that's what is important though. I live in America and I follow American politics, and I know about the party caucus that you are talking about and how effective it can be. But at the end of the day, when it gets there, that's what people will say, because all they see is, okay, a bill is brought, the debate, there's no much debate over it, and okay, we vote. All APRC vote in favor of it. You have the very few minority, and you guys had like almost a great majority in the House, and as a result, it ends up passing. And that's why it is called a rubber stamp. Especially, there were times that some bills were very critical and basically probably did not represent the interest of the people, and you guys voted in favor of those bills. What would you consider that?
That's the assumption of those who are in disagreement with the bill.
Okay.
They will always assume that the vast majority of Gambians are not in support. There are no statistics, no survey, but they will say that the vast majority of the people are not in support.
Well, even if it is not the vast, but even if it is not the vast majority, if a good number of Gambians are concerned and are talking about these things, definitely that should happen. Yes. And there were also situations where, like right now, we are seeing, for example, certain things are happening in the country where the National Assembly is disagreeing with the government. During your 20-some years of being, however many years you did at the Assembly, was there any time, for example, that a government brought in their budget and you rejected it at Assembly?
We have returned bills upon bills, agreements upon agreements.
Okay, give us examples.
Even the last agreement we have.
Give us examples.
The United States of America. The last agreement with the agreement with the United States of America. It was ratified by the cabinet and they brought to Parliament. Looking at the agreement, they have found out that the two countries were not treated equally. What the security forces or what can do in the waters of the Gambia against ships, Gambian security forces cannot do equally. We engage government and we threw it back. We said we are not going to ratify this agreement. I remember 2 American ambassadors met me and the speaker, and we said, "Look, America may be bigger than the Gambia. You are more powerful. You have more resources, but we should trade equally when we come to bilateral agreements. We cannot be a country. What is good for the goods, it should be good
for the Ganda.
We are not against it. Only that we have government to put in the necessary amendments and then bring it back. So things of those things do happen. Let me tell you one thing. I want to assure you of one thing. Billahi, there were almost nil interference in the affairs of Parliament.
Honorable,
like
give us other bills. If we come to that.
No.
You say no. Go ahead.
I can assure you. What I can assure you is a lot of bills have been pushed away. A lot of budget these things have been slowed down, and amendments done on the floor of Parliament. Even after the caucus, a lot of things have happened in Parliament. The interesting thing is people don't come to Parliament, they don't see and they want to comment.
Well, even if people saw, like right now, the media has access to the Parliament to take the proceedings live, and people are able to watch it and see. Before, only the newspapers probably will be allowed. Only the GRTS was allowed to. Go ahead.
No, during our time, my brother, during our time, we had online papers even were invited.
Trust me, it wasn't us. It is.
And others were all there.
When did Africa came? ITV just came. They came the last minute of the thing.
ITV came and they met me, asked them. And we said, we don't mind. This thing, you can come and cover. We gave them the green light.
Well, that is the last minute, though. That is the last minute. This is in 2016. So what we are saying is
if we were the last minute, they came the last minute. Had we denied them earlier?
2016. Yes, the media. Okay. How about all the media houses that were closed down in the country? Or arson attacks that happened? We are hearing some of the things that are revelations.
What do you mean? Like which media houses? In my comments to you, I told you something about the media. And you remember, security is the responsibility of government. The maintenance of peace and stability of any country is the responsibility of government. And one of the pillars to take governance is press. So these two are important institutions, but the press must be independent and responsible.
Okay.
In the absence of that, you want to use the name of press to get what you want individually or as a group. Nobody would like that. And that's what we saw.
Yeah, but then for the press to have access to cover things and talk about things without being censored, for people to express their opinions, no matter how it is, whether government feels threatened about this, is that what you call security concern? Is it the government's concern? Is the government threatened by some of the things that were discussed, or the opposition being giving, access, or opposition being given access? We know people, I mean, who, for example, Dudu Sane, may he so rest in peace, that used to work at GRTS. Eventually, he went through a lot. He suffered a lot by reporting. From reports we have heard, he reported a story of UDP rally, of course, and said the thousands of people that covered who attended this. And as a result, he was relieved from his position. He was arrested and tortured, and a lot happened to him. And he was in bed until he passed away a year ago. It's when Dudu Sane passed away. Go ahead. What's your reaction to that?
As recent as these 2 years, within these 2 years, journalists were beaten up in the presence of ministers.
Does it make it right? Does it make it right?
In the presence of ministers.
Does it make it right?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying it makes it.
Okay.
It happened. You understand me? But nobody talks about it, to associate it with the government. Why not?
Yes, if things happen, if the government is responsible for anything, of course, it is going to be said that the government is responsible for something.
Let's not have excuses. Let's allow people to have excuses. Government belongs to everybody, and each and everybody has a role to perform. If, for instance, if I am trying to do a responsibility, and I know that responsibility is illegal, despite I go to do it, I cannot exonerate myself. If I cannot, if you know you are in the US, you will see some of his aides, his own defense minister, in fact, had to go because of principles. You believe in this, he's taking you this way, you give out your position and go away.
Okay, what will be your reaction to people? Some people say that, okay, in your case, APRC, that is what was happening. You guys stayed there for the most part. A lot of you that were working for APRC or were working under the APRC government have the option to leave, but you did not leave.
No, I had no option to leave. There was nothing that would make me leave at the time.
Okay.
I was the best of my ability and my knowledge and my conscience. I think I was okay. So why was I going to leave?
So you didn't see the
need for those who believe whatever it is they fall into that trap, they could leave. Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. So what is your reaction?
So
what are you trying to say?
So what is my reaction to what?
No, go ahead. You say what you are trying to say something. Go ahead. What are you trying to say?
See, what I'm trying to put forward is people cannot go under the cloak of I was given directives, I was afraid to do this, I know that it is wrong, and if I had done it, something will happen to me. That's no excuse.
Okay.
It's no excuse. If we want to live that life, we will not make it. Everybody will come to do the same thing, to say the same thing, and actually, sometimes it's your interest. That's why you did it. You are alleging somebody. Take responsibility for what it is. If you cannot take responsibility, give away what you have and go and sit back.
Okay.
That's my belief.
Okay.
That's why we, even as an opposition party now, if you observe us as an opposition party, we are an opposition with a difference. You observe that.
Okay.
It's not the
now let's talk about the assembly in 2016. before that actually, APRC, you guys had any beliefs and hope that you were going to win the election in 2016?
Whether we had
hope and belief, were you confident? Were you confident? Yes, were you confident that you were going to win the election?
We were hopeful.
We were
not very confident, but we were hopeful that we are going.
Why were you not very confident?
You cannot. No, you cannot say. You cannot be confident. You don't have the facts.
Well, you see the numbers, though. You see the numbers. You see the numbers. You guys were the incumbent. You had so much advantage. You have so much advantage, Honorable. You were the incumbent one. Number two, you have won elections 4 times. This was your 5th time. Number 3, you have a lot of resources at your disposal. Number 4, you had a lot of NAMs and you had all the structures in place across the country. So how comes you were not confident with all of these things? You had the power ahead of all other.
I will give you my reasons.
Okay.
We are very hopeful that we are going to win. But you have said all these things. Remember, you had 7 political parties move together, combine together. Remember, it's not, listen to me very attentively.
Before you proceed, Honorable, let me just remind our viewers that you are watching the Nyohobai show with Pa Ousmane Diouf. Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta of the APRC is my guest today. He's live at our studio in Gambia. I mean, my camera lady, please look at the messages I sent you. I sent some messages to the camera crew. You can look at it, please. Yes, Honorable, continue. I said all of these things that you guys had, the advantages you have. Continue.
Yeah. As I said at the time, with all the 7 or so political parties coming together, one, with the vicious smear campaign and lies being propagated from within and outside the Gambia, with all these things, it was backed by external institutions here in the Gambia and outside. Yes.
Give us facts. A few minutes ago, you talked about facts. Give us facts, Honorable. External institutions like who and who?
I'm giving you facts.
Yeah, you said external institutions without mentioning names.
ECOWAS, United Nations, Senegal, EU. Facts available.
Did these institutions participate in the internal politics of the Gambia, or did they come in?
Just listen. It was a conspiracy to make sure that President Jammeh and APRC goes out.
When you guys had the powers in your hands, when you had everything in your hands.
What powers?
You had everything, all the things that I just said.
No, but remember, have you forgotten? Have you forgotten? With all the powers you said we have, these people said that they were going to invade Gambia and live and create war here.
Which people?
With all the powers we have.
Which people?
The ECOWAS, the international institutions, ECOWAS, AU, UN, and all these other people.
That is when you guys wanted to seize the verdict of the people, though. That is when you guys wanted to seize the verdict of the people.
Because that was not true, because the verdict of the people was respected when the announcement was made. On Friday, when the announcement was made, assuming everything to be equal and correct, the president accepted. You people don't want to say the truth to the Gambian people. It was the IEC that came back 3-4 days later and said they had made errors in the election results in URR.
Okay.
That had reduced the difference between the coalition and APRC from 50-something thousand votes to about 19,000.
18,000. Okay.
Yeah, from 50,000. Yes. So that created doubt.
Okay.
And the bad side was, even without that, we as a party reserved the right to petition the results. And that was why the gap between election and handing over was 2 months. To allow for these nitty-gritties to be clear for handing over. But people oversighted those things. Nobody was interested to get the judges here to determine the case. People were only interested in getting troops and military personnel into the Gambia to invade the Gambia.
Honorable, do you think that's a fair statement with everything that happened? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I will respect that.
No, I am telling you, I am prepared for a live debate on this matter. You know, there was serious dishonesty by people. Look, what I'm saying is, we petitioned, we said we are not in agreement. There are 5 Supreme Court judges. The Chief Justice who was here already, we had 3 in Nigeria, 1 in Leone at the time. The people cried here, no, the judges were not appointed. When the documents proved them wrong, they kept quiet. Now, instead of getting the judges here who are from Nigeria, they are not Gambians. To come and determine a case, if they see the elections are free and fair, President Jammeh goes away.
Honorable.
Whatever their determination.
Honorable.
Nobody was interested in that.
Yeah.
They were only interested in, no, they let the troop, let him go. Let him do that. ECOWAS will come in.
Honorable, we have had the president, the former president.
To me and any other party. Pardon?
We have had the former president himself said on a live phone call, this wasn't anybody putting sugar or honey in Yaya Jammeh's mouth or whatever. He had this on a live phone call broadcast over GRTS with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the former president of Liberia, asking her, begging her to help the Gambia to get judges. So what are you telling us today? This is the president himself talking.
No, it's not that. No, you are wrong. You know what he was telling her? He was telling her to get the judges out from Nigeria to come back because they were saying that the judges were engaged on what they were engaged until they finished that.
Yeah, but there were no. Yeah, but there were no judges in the country at the time, and that has been the agreement.
No, but the Supreme Court judges were not resident here. They come and go depending on their programs. We all know these things. He was not begging them to give them Supreme Court judges. No, he was saying that let them get Nigerians, get those judges to the Gambia to do these things. And I think that was by far easier. And look at some of you and some of the other people. We are saying that. You see, what I'm trying to say here is, Allah help me. I will never destroy the truth. I will never destroy the truth. Wallah. To the best of my knowledge. If I am wrong or we are wrong, I will agree that we are wrong. But you know, people had preconceived minds against the system, against Yaya Jammeh, to a level that they cannot take in anything. Yeah,
but even if you were going to, why file the injunction though, Honorable? You guys did everything to file an injunction to stop Barrow from being sworn in and all the other steps that you guys took. Of course, over the years, other parties have decided to contest the election, to challenge the results of the elections, and you guys were sworn in and you went about your business while the case was in court. But you guys still refused on this. You didn't want President Barrow to be sworn in for business to continue and let the court continues until whatever the court decides. What is your reaction to that one?
You see, this is why I said it is going to be good for all Gambians and we fought for the Gambia. If all of us are going to sit back, reflect, and try to be sober and look at things from a positive and mature point of view. You know, we had never for one moment. You see, I told you, you know, the Constitution, why elections are done on the 1st of December. And then handing over goes to January or so, almost 2 months, is to allow for electoral petitions to be sorted out in between. One. So between that period, priority should be given to election petitions or whatever, so that decisions are taken and sorted out. One. The other thing, The other thing I want to add to that period about Barrow swearing in issue was we must be able to differentiate the continuation of an incumbent and the coming of a new leader. Let's say, for instance, we go to the next elections, and Barrow and some other parties had some these things. And Barrow,
Honorable, I'll cut you short there, because what the verdict of the people was, the people voted for Barrow to be sworn in, that Barrow won. That is what the IEC announced. So what the IEC announced is what should have stand.
The IEC announced it, but it's not true. The same IEC said they made errors.
Then, like for example, okay, let me give you an example. Like right now, which we'll talk about shortly. Now let me say this. Like right now, let me give you an example.
That APRC and President Jammeh out.
Okay, let me give you an example. Yeah, let me give you an example. Right now, for example, President Barrow has fired or relieved Ya Kumba Jaiteh, Honorable Ya Kumba Jaiteh, off of her duties. Ya Kumba has filed an injunction for the swearing in and all the other things to not happen. Now, the president's decision stands until this second, until the court decides otherwise. But the president's decision stands. So if a decision is made, that decision is supposed to stand until the court decides otherwise. So at this point, what the decision of the IEC, which of course the IEC has given them powers to do, was to make sure that, they announced, the IEC chairman announced the results, and whatever he announced stands, and let business continues until the court decides otherwise.
You see, let me tell you, election results are to be validated by the Supreme Court. One. Let me tell you that. One. And two, what I am trying to say here is, I'm not saying that anything other. What I'm trying to say is, so far we had the right to petition the Supreme Court for it to visit these things.
Okay.
Why shouldn't that be encouraged? 3, 4 judges can do it in 2 weeks. But it's more soldiers and equipment to create war in the Gambia. Why? Let's be honest, man.
Okay. Now,
they are not Gambian. Look, this was my brother. This was calculated. It was removed, as you rightly said through your other descriptions, that some people have seen the APRC and Yaya Jammeh as a tongue in the ass. And therefore.
So you accuse the international community of this when Gambians were the ones who went to the polls.
They are conspirators. Yes.
Gambian.
Yes.
How in the election process?
Look,
I will
give you an example.
In the election process,
I will give you an example.
Okay, go ahead.
Pardon?
In the election process, the international community. Go ahead. You say they were conspirators. The international community. You mentioned the United Nations, ECOWAS, AU, and all of these. Senegal,
ECOWAS, AU, United Nations, and even our sister Republic of Senegal. They are all conspirators.
During the elections, I am trying to get at the elections. The election.
I will come, my brother. You see, there was an agreement before President Jammeh left.
Yes.
Brought by ECOWAS, AU, and on behalf of the government of the Gambia. It's not honored.
Okay. Now, before we talk about that, let's get it clear. What I'm trying to get at, sir, is you said they were these international organizations and Senegal were conspirators. They were the ones who fight or wanted Yaya Jammeh by hook or hook to get out of the country. I am asking you specifically. During the elections, it was Gambians who voted for for President Yaya Jammeh. They voted for him. They voted him out by voting for Adama Barrow with 43%, Yaya Jammeh 39%, and Mama Kande 17 or 18%.
No. Gambians never voted Yaya Jammeh out.
Gambians never voted Yaya Jammeh out?
No. The Gambians voted for Yaya Jammeh. It's the IEC that voted Yaya Jammeh out through their sinister and malicious movements and electoral fraud. It's not the people.
So the Gambian people, the 39%, the 43% that Adama Barrow got. No.
No, let me tell you, my brother. Give me some 2 months to come. I will give you, I may come out with irrefutable evidence to prove all these things. I'm beginning to get some information. People are coming out on their own. People are bringing out things on their own.
That IEC were the one that voted out Yaya Jammeh.
IEC was manipulated. Moment Guy was manipulated.
By who?
By not only these things, even by certain players, even in the Gambia here.
Uncle, Mr. Fabakary, are you hearing what you are saying? You guys were the incumbents. You guys had all the resources at your disposal. You guys conducted the elections. You guys changed. Let me finish. You guys changed the electoral laws.
We are used to. No, we are used to an independent electoral commission doing it on its own. In fact, we are taking Moman Aliu to be the same, and that's why when he announced that APRC lost, the president accepted and congratulated the president-elect. We are told it's the same. Good. That's the determination of the people.
So, but
it was he himself who came to tell us that no, in my bid to defraud you people, I can't leave this one. I must tell you.
So Ali Momanjai told you guys that he wanted to take APRC off of the seat of power by hook or hack.
Yes, he came on the air himself. Momanjai came on air on record. He said he's happy that APRC and Yaya Jammeh are gone.
Okay. So is that what you is that the statement? I watched that interview. Is that the statement you are using? Just look at us, sir. You are bending down. Look at us.
Not only money. No. Momanjai made a lot of things that you are sitting down. You don't know.
And that's why we want you to tell us. More than you invite la purga wahnyu.
I told you. No, because no. I told you we are putting up something to prove that something fundamental had gone wrong and there was conspiracy. But even ordinary speaking, sir, pre-issue judges you determine. Judges Nigerian line actually they are not Gambian. You can manipulate with them. You found that to be more difficult than bringing soldiers and arms and ammunition to come and kill Gambians. That's how
why you're killing Gambians? Okay, let me say this now. Let's go there. I will play these audios for you. During the impasse, you guys, National Assembly members, declared the state of emergency. Sidekabi. Yenina declare loldi.
Proudly, sir. No, you have not said it well. Proudly declared a state of emergency.
And you were proud of that. Your consent was clear.
Very proud. Let me say this. In almost all my radio conversations, I ask Gambians, some people will talk on the sidelines. I will mention it myself. I have no regrets. And I did it in the best interest of the Gambia, for the best of my ability, and with my conscience.
When you deployed, let me say this, when APRC or the government deployed the military on the streets of Serekunda Greater Banjul area, you have all your positions ready. Those same military were sitting in the offices. We are hearing military officers coming out now and talking about these things. And we saw them anyway because our brothers, our sisters, everybody. Ñu ngey ñew ci bunti koñ yi di campé ak suñ niti ñu leena jox lekk ñu lekk ñu leena jox naan ñu naan. Our people were feeding them, giving them water. They were using their bathrooms. The government did not even provide them enough food according to what the testimonies of some of the officials. The commander of the barracks who was at the commission a few days ago said. So Gambians, you can go about their business. They were handling all their business.
No. Let's be specific. Sorry, my brother. Let's come to issues. You are saying this generally. One period.
You declared the country. You declared a state of emergency during the impasse. During the impasse, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, so that's what I'm talking about. Yes. What was the reason, the fundamental reason? That's what you said you are proud of.
You
before.
You
okay.
said when we declared.
State of emergency, Fokodega, the country's security is threatened, nationally or internationally, somewhat for this particular in this particular instance. When the military you deployed,
have you followed the constitutional? Have you followed the constitutional provision for its declaration of a state of emergency?
Oh, you tell me. That's why I have you here. You tell me about it. I don't know, and you tell me.
Then if you don't do it, it's not accused us then.
No, I am not accusing you. I'm telling you what we see. Lingis lala wahde. And I had interviews that I will play for you.
I have told you, I have proudly put forward and associated myself with the declaration of a state of emergency in Gambia.
Okay. And I asked you, and I was giving you background information. I was giving you background information prior to that, which is, of course, before the declaration of state of emergency. We have military people deployed in the society, guide them, Defsen Sahoyi everywhere, and they were all over the place. We have heard testimonies from the commander from the commanders who were involved in this, who told us the suffering that their men were going through, that they could not provide them with enough food or anything. And these same people were being fed by the Gambian people. These same people were provided with food, with water, were allowed to use the bathrooms of the people. So nini nekuñ won in any situation, ñepp ngey dox sen soxla yi, yet you guys declared the country state of emergency based on what reason? Wahma, what was the reason?
Let me come there. You see, that is very ironical.
Okay.
Very ironical.
Okay.
Gambian security soldiers support and maintenance must come in their lifetime.
Okay.
Before and now.
Okay.
Support both in every form must come. Nobody can tell you that. So what some of these people who come to the commission, you observe the commissions, there are a lot of contradictions in what people say about the same issue. What people say about the same contradictions. But that's people's opinion. What I'm trying to say is, soldiers who will come out to say, I challenge them.
Okay. Well, my point is, I want to be focused there. I want to be focused there a little bit. We are talking about the state of emergency. I just brought the background information to tell you that, okay, Gambians were going about their business. What was the reason?
I'm trying to push this out. You are saying soldiers declared it. I have to clear that out. Soldiers who declared it are not sincere to themselves. But Gambian soldiers, we are better off during Jammeh's time than any time before or after him.
Okay. Okay.
Let's go to the state of emergency. The state of emergency, as I said, I asked you about the provision.
Honorable, like you may be surprised, like I keep telling you, we have been on record, and I'll play a couple of interviews for you that I had with your people during this period when they wanted to declare the state of emergency. On the 15th of January, I interviewed a lot of your National Assembly members, including Alassana Bojang of Kombo East, Babukar Nyang of Banjul South, Honorable Habsana Jallo of Nyanija, Honorable Laisen of Banjul, Khalifa Jammeh of Bakau, Menatanjai of Kiang West, and Serif Musa Haidara of Lower Nyomi. I'll play that of Honorable Laisen of Banjul. You hear it. My conversation with him when you guys were about to declare the state of emergency. Let me just play it and we listen to it. In 1 second, we listen to that interview. And this was before you guys...
That made me...
To copy this following, press star.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Honorable. Uncle, ñu ngi laa nuyu waay. Man la Pa Ousmane Diouf naka njaboot gi yëpp. Pa Ousmane Diouf xam naa xamuloo ma maa ngi laa collé America.
Ousmane Diouf of where?
Xam naa xamuloo ma maa ngi laa collé America maa ngi dëkk bu ñu wax Seattle Washington. Maa ngi laa collé America Gambian Talents Radio dama doon bëgg ko rek pour waxtaan ak yow. Li nga xam ne moo nekk di xew ci dëkk bi ndax ñu ne ku xamul fi nga jëm nga dellu fi nga jógee jamono ji xool tooy na Gambian si around the world ñu ngi jaaxle si fiñ nekk nii ndax we are making headline news for the wrong reason and moo tax ñu dellu si waat yéen ñi nga xam ne yéen a nekk ci boppi nguur gi di defal luwaay dëkk bi pour ñu waxtaan ak yéen rek seet yéen yan tànk ngeen mun a taxawee ci li nga xam ne moo nekk di go on ci dëkk bi si jamono ji ndax li xew neexut ma neexut la xam naa neexut keneen képp koo xam ne Gambian nga rek du la neex and it's very unfortunate bi élection si passé ñu gis IEC announce results yi ñëpp continuer di dox seen soxla ba 1 week later President Jammeh make the announcement he made mu change yu bari te ñu gis ne the past 22 years for élection si passé yëpp President Jammeh won the results even though UDP fileoon nañ ay petition waaye loolu terewutoon inauguration bi go on inaugurate nañ President Jammeh and business went on as usual ba petition bi li court bi mujjee decide ni mujjee d'accord si loolu but loolu terewutoon anything li ñu waxoon pour mu happen so the same thing la rek yéen ñi nekk ci bopp yi fi ñu dégg ne ëllëg da ngeen war a am sitting you guys have been summoned pour am anaka pour ngeen dem amee sitting si court si so moo tax ma ne ma wax ak yow pour seet rek yéen seen taxawaay ci loolu ndax APRC of course seen parti bi file ngeen petition bi and the judges are not available amul quorum pour hear case bi ba mais te constitution bi li mu wax de foog naa ne su fekkoon ne changes daf doon am daf doon war a happen balaa lii comme time bi ñoo def electoral reforms yi si lañ doon war a change ne maybe in the next 180 days or however many days that we are going to be added waaye constitution bi 90 days la waxoon so fooguma ne man wala keneen kuy kaas di am na problème yi pour APRC file petition loolu seen right la am ngeen every right pour def ko waaye pour injunction bi ak blocking Adama Barrow's inauguration foofu laay koolee rek ndax history dafa nekk di ñu jooj te yéen suñu kilifa ngeen dégg sa phone bi dégg di ringtone alquran bi yàlla ma kontaan si bu baax yàlla mi nga xam ne moo ñu binda ne rasul dinaa la fàttali nettali xisa yonent yi la jiitu pour yokkala góob so pour ñu fàttali wante rek moo tax ma laa kool te xelkat pour sa bu riir la xale mun na koo for mag mun na koo for to moo tax ma ne ma kool la pour waxtaan ak yow yéen ay suñu kilifa yéen ay defar luwaay yi te nu mu munti demee yow yaa waa Banjul teraanga ngeen seexa jàmm ngeen seexa yéen ak suñ parents yi ngeen defandoo lu nekk suñ amee bànneex ngeen bànneexee ko ñoom suñ amee safaan ngeen safaanoo ko ñoom te president's command go while the country stays foog naa ne yow bëgg ngaa dund ak waa Banjul ngay demalanteeg ñoom di jëflanteeg ñoom gannaaw su fi Yaya Jammeh jógee ndax Yaya Jammeh du continuer nekk ci bopp nguur gi forever mooy ci bii la wala beneen bu mënoon a nekk tamit dafay dem te su demee yow loolu jeexalul sa term as a National Assembly member eventually su fekkee ne waa Banjul yi they are happy with you they can always vote you back in to National Assembly elections si jotaatee so lii laa ne woon rek ma ne ma waxtaan koog yow pour make sure ne daal you understand some of these things because ñun reports yi ñoo gis are very conflicting li GRTS di wane ak li ñoo gis si international news bi ak ECOWAS li ñu wax ak statement ci gars yi publish yëpp is completely different from li ñoo gis GRTS di génnee léegi nii biñ génnee news bi président Jammeh speech menam bi mu wax ak kele ne le Ellen Johnson dégg nañ li ko wax so loolu laa ne woon ma waxtaan see yow rek oncle
kontaan naa
jërëjëf
kontaan naa ci sa am patriotisme bi nga exercise lañ as you know comme ni ko xamee rek Gambia belongs to all of us and Gambia is bigger than any individual te nit ki looy def danga koo def sa diggante ak yàlla man waa Banjul Central ñooy suma boss they voted for me to be their eye and their mouthpiece te loolu ba léegi loolu laa doon exercise coming towards to the Supreme Court. You understand? Which is the highest court of this land. You're not going to decide. You understand? So, man, when it comes to this immigration or whatever, I'm not the constitution. At least hear me, and President Jammeh, the injunction, and all this is, I'm not the constitution. So, take a little because we are not in session. Because constitution is number one. If this thing happens, we take in session. It should take only 7 days. You understand? So, take any, technically, the next session, an extraordinary should be called. Understand? Signed by 1/3 of the parliamentarian to instruct the speaker to convey an extraordinary dispensation.
Honorable, I'll just stop it there. Uncle Lai went ahead to give us an overview of it. Extraordinary session again, or your Nekulen one in sitting, sir. You were not even in sitting during this time, but you call an extraordinary session just to be able to declare the country a state of emergency.
I want to congratulate you.
I have like time doesn't permit us, but I have over 10 interviews with 10 different APRC NAMs at the time, appealing to all of them to yes, go ahead.
No. Yes, you don't understand me. I am congratulating you for being used as a very able lobbyist to get some people out of track. I listen to you, the way you are presenting your case to him, how your strong points to knock his mind, for him to reflect on those things. I listen attentively, and I want to congratulate you for that. But nobody talked to me.
I failed, right?
But what was clear?
I failed, right? Are you trying to tell me I failed?
I don't know whether you succeeded with them, but you identified your people who can easily be knocked around, and you did a good presentation to knock with their minds, which I congratulate you. I don't know whether finally you succeeded or not, but you have done a good job. But what I'm saying is, when we were told that there was going to be an invasion of the Gambia by ECOWAS, the ultimatum. The 1997 Constitution provides where this country is going to be invaded, the commander-in-chief has a right to declare a state of emergency. But that state of emergency can last for only 14 days. If it's to be extended, it has to go through Parliament. Listen to this very carefully. And for me, I live in the Gambia, my family lives in the Gambia, and I pray to die in the Gambia. And I will fight also to die for the Gambia. If a country wants to invade us, just because we went into the elections and we are saying that the elections are not free and fair, constitutionally, we have petitioned. We said no, and you want to remove us. We will endorse the president to put in the necessary mechanism. And in fact, the president's state of emergency was, in fact, no state of emergency. All fundamental rights were protected. Nothing was seized. Everything was left as it was. If you look at it, the document is there.
Look into the camera, sir. Look into the camera, sir.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when President Jammeh left here in January, I was a member of parliament until April of 2017. And the same declarations I made, and I told Gambians, if any country wants to come and invade the Gambia under a government like Barrow or any other, we will support to declare a state of emergency. To give him powers to see how he can protect the Gambia. That's why he's commander-in-chief. Why should we decide? Why should I say or fear to do that in the time of need, and the Constitution provides for it? But as you did, you and a lot of other guys messed with some of the National Assembly members with a view to trying to change their minds on them. I was aware.
So you are accusing me now?
What I do know is,
you are accusing me now?
Yeah, you were part of it. No, you were part of it. I had your interview.
So I'm now part of the I'm now part of the conspirators.
This one I listened to, yes, qualifies you to be part of it.
Okay.
One, you were very able. You gave a long preamble. And then you brought in your key points that the man himself was almost going to say, oh, you are right. So what we are saying is these things are not meant. Look, I am a Gambian. I live in the Gambia. I have family in the Gambia. And me, I want to die in the Gambia. Me, I want to die in the Gambia. I have no place to go. Me, Billahi, I will never run away from the Gambia.
Okay. So you have no regrets to close that chapter. You have no regret. You have no regret declaring a state of emergency in the country.
I am today more proud than ever before.
Okay. All right.
I want it on record that under the circumstances, I championed the cause for the Gambia to support the state of declaration of the state of emergency by the command.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That is hard. Now,
Yes.
you guys tried everything. APRC tried everything from the state of emergency to the injunction, blocking the swearing-in ceremony, going to court. Like all the efforts that you guys did, all eventually you ended up giving up on the situation. Of course, the president firing of the ministers, or some of them resign. Do you believe we hear conflicting stories on that, though? What can you tell us? A lot of the ministers and ambassadors and top government officials, some of them said they resign, and then the president quickly announced on GRTS that they have been fired or relieved from their position. What can you tell us about this, though? Which position stands? Were they fired or were they...
So it's the same thing that I'm talking about. The same manipulation. Some of these ministers were contacted by foreign diplomats, foreign institutions, and helped to go to Senegal, encouraged to go. Oh, my brother, let's be honest. And for me, Gambia is bigger than anybody, and it should be for any other person. Despite our own small differences, the sovereignty, independence, and the good of the Gambia should be protected with our life.
Okay. Fair enough.
Despite our challenges.
Fair enough. Let's go away from that. You've made your position very known. So you guys have...
These people are not interested in our welfare.
Which people?
They look like these are external institutions. They are not. We will not have been what we are today. They will never leave us half independent. They will never leave African leaders come together. There will always be division. Their livelihood is in Africa. The unification of Africa downfall automatically is the downfall of the West.
Okay.
But we cannot learn that.
Okay.
They come in scholars using ourselves. So for me, as I'm telling you, I have told you, you may say, yes, they sent ministers away, we tried these things, we prevented these things. If you look at the chronology of it, it all is the leftist side view of it. That's how they all look at it.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Now you guys dropped that case, but you said there are emerging evidences against the IEC. What are you going to do? Are you going back to court, or what are you going to do with the IEC? With this new emerging evidence?
Back to court, but posterity to take note. You see, it's not more of we are going to power or not going to power. We want things to be correct. Posterity to take note of the records of events that have happened. We don't need to go back to court to do that. But it will be there for all to see. And some will put their heads into the basket.
Okay. You made mention of
you see the revelations of the November 11th?
Yes.
Happening now. And this thing had about 20 or more years ago. The revelations now. We want to take stock. These things also will come out very clear. God willing, inshallah.
Okay. I will come to that. So the APRC has closed the chapter with the IEC, but then you continue to operate as a party. The election came, a lot of your candidates, the National Assembly elections, after former President Yaya Jammeh left, a lot of your candidates decided to not contest again. But even before that, the leaving of Yaya Jammeh, whose decision was that? You earlier mentioned ECOWAS and the agreement that was had. You briefly mentioned that. What can you tell us about that agreement, which you guys highlighted during your last Congress? You guys highlighted during your last Congress the departure of Yaya Jammeh. You mentioned it briefly. And you guys highlighted a good number of that during your last Congress. You said there was an agreement. What can you tell us about that agreement?
Can you repeat your question?
The question is about Yaya Jammeh leaving. You said there was an agreement with ECOWAS about his leaving and everything, some condition.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
What can you tell us? You briefly mentioned it.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that agreement?
Yeah, prior to His Excellency's departure, Yaya Jammeh's departure, you remember, ECOWAS, UN, and the United Nations and the AU we had an agreement, blueprint document that guarantees his departure and what should follow. On the basis of that, he left. When he left, and the Barrow government came to power, Barrow government, they did not sign. All right, enough. But it was done on their behalf by AU, ECOWAS, and the United Nations. So it becomes the AU and the ECOWAS and the United Nations to ensure the implementation of that agreement that they did on behalf of the government of the country, to ensure that peaceful transition and transfer of power. It became a toilet paper. You just picked up into the dust.
But that agreement, was it ever signed? They said they never signed it. It was just a draft that they were presented with until Yaya Jammeh left. They said it was. Huh? Who signed the agreement?
ECOWAS, UN, and United AU.
They signed it with who?
Barrow was not here.
They signed it with who?
He signed it with President Jammeh.
Okay. How can those people sign an agreement on behalf of the Gambian people?
Now that can be questioned. Now that what they wanted, it can be questioned.
How can just answer it? How can ECOWAS, AU, and United Nations sign an agreement?
Was in Dakar, and these people were coming in and out. Nobody was questioning that. Some people were talking about a national unity government. Let's not look. Let's be honest ourselves. Who else will honor some of these things if it happens somewhere? Let's remember that. These things can happen somewhere, and the UN, ECOWAS, and United Nations want to go and do some of these things so that there can be peace. Who will honor? Who will agree? Who will accept it when they see these things happen and fail?
So, in your view, they deceive Yaya Jammeh, then kon nax dal. Bem gina si deka bi.
No, they never. It's not more of this deceit, but it's more of a willingness to force through. But as of now, some small developments are happening. Now, hopefully, we wait and see.
Okay.
Because there will always be people who will want to say the truth. Come rain, come storm.
Okay.
In everywhere and in every institution.
So, how did Fabakary Tombong Jatta become the national interim leader of the APRC after Yaya Jammeh left?
Yeah, actually, some 4 or 5 years ago, the first year into my fourth term, I had decided and told my people that I'm leaving active politics. No more elections for me. That together we must look for a replacement, my replacement. When came the 2016 impasse, and then following Yaya Jammeh's departure, there was this push for the APRC to die out, no more a political party. We had to convene ourselves, some of us. And there we said we cannot allow the party to die out. The party has done too much for this country. We have a lot of support. People had supported it there with their lives over the period. And yes, we may not be in government, but we should be able to make sure that the party survives under very serious pressures. That was the time some asked me to do it. I said, no, I will not do it. And then I would support anybody who would do it, because I felt then I was going to relax. I have done enough. I am old and all these things. So I want to relax and not have the burden again or the pressure of all these things. Then after push and pull, we could not get anybody. And I had to say, okay, I have been served by the same people, voted for me for 20 years, clapped for me, when I had not been giving them anything. When the need comes for me to also to stand and protect them, even with my life, I should be able to do it. So that's how I became the leader. I accepted to become the leader of the party to ensure that the APRC survives and to also put in place, try to create a new type of opposition. Not an opposition that is always with violence, demonstrations, insults, no engagement, no. So we had the opportunity to be an opposition and also to serve as an opposition with a difference.
Okay.
What otherwise other opposition would have done, we have refrained from doing it, even when it has happened to us.
Okay.
Because the Gambia is our country. And,
okay. So you came and you were there. You guys were there. You, Yankuba Koli, Emeba, the Sidinjais, and Rambo, and all the other executive members.
No, Emeba was not. No. Emeba was not there.
He was not where?
Eme came in after. No, he was not.
He was not a member of the APRC, or he was in an executive member.
He was not even known to be a member of the APRC. But what happened was, he was not within the executive, or he was not even attend our meetings. He was not aware of the meeting. He does not come to the meetings. It was only after the November rally, that big rally we had at the Buva Zoo.
Okay.
That he came requesting that he came to me that he wants us to put him in the executive.
Okay.
Which I said I could not do it alone. I will refer to the executive, and following consultations with the executive, we agreed that we can be a member of the National Executive Committee.
Okay.
But at the time, we were calling people, senior officials of the party then, they would tell me, please, pardon me. Nobody wants to take up the challenge, even to be an executive member, much more to take leadership in it.
You are talking about shortly after Yaya Jammeh left, shortly after the impasse.
Yeah, shortly after Yaya Jammeh left. That was February, March, going up to the April election.
Okay. A lot of your names did not stand for re-election. How did you guys take that?
Yeah, the names. No, some of the names, in fact, shifted allegiance.
Yes, exactly. to other parties.
Yes, that happened. Yes.
That must have been
so discreetly, but later it showed up. Yeah, we said we have no objections. People have a right to move to wherever you believe. Just don't be deceitful. Be honest with it. If I am APRC today, I choose to go to GDC. I will be saying I'm going to GDC. I have a right. You know. So people went there. We had no qualms. What made it worse then was actually our accounts were frozen. If you remember, our vehicles were seized from us. We were thrown away from our office, pushed away unceremoniously. And you know, remember the 18th February in the post-independence, when at Kamfenda, our people were 50-something people were arrested. You know, detained, pregnant women, school-going children. You remember all those things? Then we had to get lawyers for these people. We had no money here and there, but we finally had to pay over how many hundreds of thousands of dollars to get those people lawyers for these people. So a lot of things happened for us, all aimed to frustrate us and discourage people from associating with us. But
so do you think,
even if it was going to be 20 people,
do you think that was unfair to the party? That was unfair to the party?
No, but what has the party done? The party has not done anything.
So what is your reaction to the suggestion that what goes around comes around? APRC, we are hearing the commission, people claiming their properties were taken away.
No, we have not done that to any political party.
Yeah.
Which political party accounts have we frozen? Which political party vehicles have we seized? Or funds have we seized?
You ban them. That's worse.
Tell
You
me.
ban them. You ban all parties.
We political party have we banned? One political party, tell me.
Yeah. Did you just not tell me earlier how AFRC banned all political parties and we are only allowed to come back?
This is your mistake. This is your mistake. All military governments suspend the constitution and ban political activity. That is not APRC.
But you said it earlier. It's the father. It's AFRC that gave birth to APRC.
No, but it's not. Look. Let's be honest. So are you telling me even today the PPP that is going on now, whatever happens there, you would say is Jawara?
Well, he gave he gave room for a lot of things.
No, we must be sincere to ourselves. We must be sincere. The APRC is a political party that came in 1996. Nobody had thought about it from 94 to that time. It came out. Yes, it came out and was led by people who were in the 1994-96 junta. Agreed? But those people operated as a military.
Okay.
By decrees.
Okay.
And then if they banned political parties, the constitution was suspended. Not political parties. The constitution itself was suspended.
Okay.
So how can you come and use that against the political party?
Okay. Well, now tell us. You say people were running away from you. So, people that you suspect or you thought were diehards of the party, that were hailing the party and everything. Those trying times, everybody turned their back on the party. How did you handle that as the leader of the party?
Yeah, we know that's the dynamics of human beings. They are human beings. Your leader Warek, if it is difficult, they go away. Only want it sweet all their lives.
Okay.
But mostly you go and die under difficult circumstances.
Yeah, so you were talking about...
See, one should be...
Okay, go ahead.
What? Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, one should be what?
I said one should be dictated by your conscience and honest enough. You see, during those periods, when President Jammeh left, the situation was alarming. Fear was created. And some people could not withstand it. Some people wanted to cover up. They wanted to cover up and quickly go and align themselves so that they will not be investigated. Some people want to show their allegiance so that tomorrow, even if there are things happening, they would be able to be treated humanly. Some people went to the extent of making allegations that were in fact untrue. But that's human survival. That's the human being. If I don't believe in a thing, I will leave. Wallahi, I will leave. But if I believe in it, we are working together, and there are errors going on, I will do my best to correct the errors. And anytime I get frustrated, in terms of correction, I will leave it and go another way. If I can't do anything.
So you were all the 22 years rule of APRC. You must have heard of some of the things that were being said. Were there any situations you said you will do things to correct errors? Were there any situations where you made efforts to correct certain errors, sir? And what are some of those that you think the government must have? Some of the failures of the government while you were in power. Do you remember taking any steps towards correcting any failures of the government?
You see, that is ongoing. And these things are not specific. In dialogues, in decision makings, in building up, in analysis. Because we had the opportunity of being in touch with the people, at the same time being part of the senior hierarchy. It's not something that it is specific. Oh, no, this, that, and that. No, you are going through processes. How do you improve those processes to make sure that some of the lapses are closed up? That's what happened. It's not specifically, oh, they wanted to beat this man. I said, don't beat him. And in fact, I will not have that power.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the biggest allegation against the APRC and this thing. In fact, until this day, we hear people say, "Oh, we wish APRC is back. We wish Yaya Jammeh is back." But then nobody knew what they'll be like. Well, only if to buy one direct. Well, only if he stopped the killing, only if he stopped the torturing and the like. So about the issue of killings and torturing, have you guys made any attempts or discussed this at any level, or you didn't care about that because supposedly you didn't have evidence of them?
No, but you know, the killings so far from both the Commission and the TRRC, I have not heard any of these people alleging that it's Yaya Jammeh. Very little. It's coming from people, some of whom are not even APRC. We don't even know them as APRC. They have never belonged to APRC. We are listening to them.
Well, Aga Gunchi, you know? we have not reached APRC yet. Until this minute, they are only talking about the 1994 coup as well as
the. They have never been APRC.
Huh?
Pardon?
Until this minute, we are only hearing 94 and 95. Korosise, right now, they stop at November 11. They started with the July 22nd coup. They now into November 11 and Korosise's death. And that was before APRC, obviously. So they cannot be part of APRC. It's only Ya Kumba Jaiteh, you will say. Why Nyom Sana Sabali, those people were out before APRC came into being.
No. They were people who were talking, soldiers and all these things. Those people were never APRC. They have never supported APRC, and they will never be APRC.
Okay.
It is surprising that some of those people, I'm hearing those things happening, and orchestrated by some of those people alleging that they did it. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not saying about even that, even after. We listen to the Commission of Inquiry. Some of the allegations on this theft and corruption and all these things. People take people for granted. Just come to the Commission and said, I was assigned by this one to do A, B, and C. Where is the money I have given to somebody? Why?
Yeah, but the records, they have records though. If you are talking about the Janneh Commission, for example, a lot of the people who are saying, okay, it was done on orders, there are records that, okay, they signed for the monies to be released, but those people might not have held money physically. They just signed for the money to be this thing. Halisby was given to either Yaya Jammeh directly, Sol Baji, or the First Lady, for whatever purpose. And the evidences are there of the checks.
Now, you are saying that. How true is that? Can you go to a court of law and assume that? And then you want the court to believe that assumption is right?
We are not talking about the assumption. There are records. The courts, of course, the commission have records of these things. They provide those records. We hear them talking about.
They have not exposed me to the best of my knowledge.
Yes, we hear them talking about exhibit. We hear them talking about exhibit 1, exhibit 2, whatever documents that have been tendered by the witnesses, of course, and the investigation.
Are not those things. They are not those things. Some of those documents are just showing that this was written or this was that. But that it was written by former President Yaya Jammeh or received by former President Yaya Jammeh or authorized by former President Yaya Jammeh. You don't see that.
Checks that were signed and letters that were written in which the President is authorizing them to actually, or Office of the President is authorizing them to actually release this money or give out this money to this individual or pay this money to this institution or to this individual or to this company. All of those we are seeing, Mr. Honorable Fabakary.
This is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a system like that, what I'm trying to say here is, for anything to happen, there must be tangible evidences. It's not for people to come and look. If you look at the commission, somebody would say something about something specific. Another person of this thing will come about the same thing. He will say it differently. And there are no checks and balances to establish which one is right or wrong.
You are happy about that, you are happy about that, the contradictions, right?
I will never be happy about it. I want the facts to come out. I want the hard facts to come out. Unbiased to come out. It's only there that we will be able to formulate ways of overcoming some of those challenges and problems. Because it's not only about leadership, it's about those people who carry out some of those orders that they claim. And that we have also observed that people capitalize on certain weaknesses to get what they want, using the name of a leader when he is not aware. All those things happen. So that's why I said we want all the facts to come out.
So you don't think leaders should be held accountable for the actions of their subordinates or their juniors or their employees or the people that work under them? Like you, APRC, you are not responsible for anything that the APRC.
No. When you give orders, you should be able to account for those orders.
Okay.
If you also who carry out orders, if the orders are correct, you carry them out. If they are wrong, you carry them out. You should be able to also to stand for it.
How about if they did under duress? How about if they did under duress?
If they do not duress?
Yes.
Huh? How many people have gone under duress? They refuse to confess. They refuse to accept. They prefer to. What I'm saying is, we must begin somewhere. If I'm giving wrong orders to carry out something myself, and I try to carry it out, I cannot come and say tomorrow because he asked me to carry it out. It was an order. I'm equally liable. If I cannot carry it out, let me give them back what they have given me to enable me to carry it out. If it is a position, let me give them back their position.
So you think, in your view, Yaya Jammeh is completely innocent of either the Janneh Commission. Let me finish the question. Let me finish the question. Let me finish the question. In your view, do you think in your view Yaya Jammeh is completely innocent of the Janneh Commission's the allegations coming out of the Janneh Commission, and everybody testifying and saying the order was from Yaya Jammeh, as well as the TRRC, all the military and the people who carried out these atrocities, including Alaji Kanyi and others who have confessed? You think Yaya Jammeh is completely innocent of this? Because everybody has said that he never participated. That is one thing you can give him. Nobody said he was present. They will say all council members were present except Yaya Jammeh. But do you think he is completely innocent of both commissions?
Now, I have not listened to the entire commissions. I have not seen the evidences. Right? And until such time, I cannot say. What I want to emphasize is people cannot sit back to make assumptions and believe that those can make the escape. If President Jammeh gives orders and the orders, for instance, are wrong, he should be able to stand by it, and I know he will stand by it. And then corrections are made. As regards the TRRC, if you observe me, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know whether you observe that. Because it is 1994, those who participated in the military takeover, and those, not only that, and those workers involved in it up to the time of the civilian government. Those people are indemnified in the 1997 Constitution. If you look at the transitional and consequential causes, no court, no commission of inquiry or whatever can look into and ask about those things.
So are you in essence, are you saying that the TRRC is illegal? Both all the commission, the TRRC, the Janneh Commission, they are illegal in your view?
No. The TRRC looking into the period of the transition is illegal. Because the 1997 Constitution provides that no court, no commission, no individual, nobody can look into it. And that is still the law of the land. I refer you to the transitional and consequential sections of the section 13, you look at it. So if you want to look into that, and the law is saying that don't do it, you are doing it. What do you rely on?
This was in the Constitution and is voted in by Gambians.
After the junta, they can look into it. But that period, until the law is changed, it cannot be looked into. It is illegal as we speak.
It is in the Constitution that was voted in through a referendum that was voted by Gambians. They accepted it. It was a provision of the Constitution, and Gambians voted for it through a referendum.
Yes, You know, the 1970 Constitution went to a referendum.
Yes.
From a referendum, it came to Parliament. And it is accepted as the laws of the land. If you don't want it, go and change it and then continue. But it cannot be there and you do otherwise.
But what is your reaction to the saying that an unjust law is no law?
No, an unjust law, remove it. It's a law. How do you determine a law to be unjust? How can you say an unjust law is no law? Unjust to you? Then there will be no law in the world, because what may be right to you, it may be wrong to me.
Fair enough.
But if a law is unjust, just repeal it, put it out. Simple.
So
remove it from the statute books.
So it is your opinion that the TRRC is illegal, period, and that they should. So what do you think should be done?
No, I said the TRRC is illegal to the extent of looking into the activities of 1994 to 96.
Okay.
The military junta.
Yes. Okay.
But if they start from 97, the political parties, civilian, they are in right order. You know, those people are not indemnified.
Okay.
So, but this one is a law. It's the law of our supreme land, or our supreme law. You cannot just sit down and flout it, and everybody is looking at it. But because it's affecting people who might have done those things, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you want to get them straight. Change the law and then bring people to investigate them, and you investigate them. But it cannot be against the supreme law of the land, and people are going on, everybody is looking at it. As if we are a lawless. Because it's affecting people who have killed, who have done that. No. Let's be sober.
You are listening to and watching the Nyohobai show. Fabakary Tombong Jatta is my guest. I know we've been on air for a minute, but it's important. It's my first one-on-one with him. I just wanted to ask him about some of these things that needed to be cleared. We've heard what he said. The TRRC is illegal as long as it is looking into the junta. And of course, the AFPRC between 1994 and 96. That is, those are his last words. We come back to the APRC, Fabakary, Honorable. You talked about Ameba briefly. So you said he was never a part of the party. We seem to be seeing this. People that we are not part of the party. We are seeing it in PPP with the coming of Papanjai, who has tried through the UDP and through an independent candidate and now became the flag bearer. Now, Ameba also, like you said, was not part of the APRC until after the, after the impasse, when a lot of your executive and party executive or senior officials were running away from you. Was it out of desperation that you guys accepted him, or what?
No, you see, we believe that anybody can belong to a political party at any time. We believe that, no problem. But what I was trying to establish was that after the impasse, after President Jammeh left here in January, most people who were even associated with the APRC went away. I don't know whether you understand me.
Yes, I understand.
Some of them we try to contact to put them in the executive. They will not accept, much more to give them positions of responsibility. That's how a few struggled. Up and down, did everything, went into parliamentary elections under very difficult circumstances. Until in November 28, the famous November 20, when we decided that we are going to call a mass political rally after all this political smear campaign. Then there was time we called people the Bouva Zone. And it became the largest political gap in the political history of the Gambia. And then that has been an impetus for people to see that APRC is coming. And then people some started calling, some started associating, etc., etc. And we are open to everybody. We are open to everybody. All our interest is to make sure that we have a credible and strong party. And we have the opportunity to look inward, dissect what had happened, look at it, and see how we can consolidate our gains, and then see how we can prevent a recurrence of some of our limitations or weaknesses of the party. That's all. So we move away. But it's not, even those who had insulted us, if they come, they can be there. And if the people decide that they can be leaders, they can be leaders. That's not a problem. I was just telling you, when you said when Emeba and others were there, I was just correcting that they were not there.
Okay.
In fact, he came to the executive through an appeal by himself to me, and then I consulted the executive, and we agreed to put him in the national executive.
Okay.
Because he was a former minister, but by profession.
But how comes he became so powerful, though, all of a sudden, until at some point he started bumping heads with you, and it became a power struggle between you and Emeba, and a lot of people were confused eventually, and that led to the intervention of the Supreme Leader, Yaya Jammeh, His Excellency?
You see, this is that you cannot put that away from politics. But always try.
Yeah, but he became very powerful. There are other members of the APRC, sir. There was Rambo was there, Ya Kumba was there, Sidinjai. You had so many other people. But why Emeba? He became very powerful within that short period of time, within 1 year or less than a year. Was he the sponsor of the party?
He was not powerful. You assume you thought that he was powerful. How was he powerful?
Somebody that was like bumping heads with you as the leader. Somebody that was asking for the leadership and has two camps.
No, listen. Yeah, this is where you need to clarification. We had then about 30-something to 40 members of the executive.
Yes.
Of the executive, national executive.
Yes.
And only Emeba stands out alone, with no support from any other.
Okay.
Can you imagine it?
I'm listening.
He stood all by himself, alone. You see, as I said, it's politics. Politics, you don't impose on people.
Well, what do you mean he stood by himself? MA had his own camp. You had your own camp. We have had interviews with MA, or MA had several interviews, and he had people with him.
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
No, I agree that he had people. I said out of the national executive committee. MA had only himself, about 40 people.
Okay.
The whole national executive, he had only himself.
Okay.
That's what you should learn something from it. Now, using any other means to get people, it's easy. If you have means, if you have money, if you have this thing, you have whatever, you can use people and then bring people to you. There is no compulsion in politics. People can go and come because of A, B, and C. That one I have no problems about that. And that has happened. But we knew that it will come to an end. Because it has to be based on the truth and facts. Some of the things being smeared around were not true. And through time, those things the truth will come to light.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Even now, another political party can happen. Somebody can just come and create confusion. This is politics. It's not about a family matter or a family institution. No. This is about politics.
Okay.
There can be shake-ups. You see it happen. People can just change color and then do it, and then they move out.
Okay. But then let's fair enough.
Thank God that we thank God that APRC, and now people are talking about the party, and the party is gaining momentum, and people are appreciating the party. That's fine. We thank Allah. We thank God that people are competing for positions. When we are giving you position, people will run away from it. Now there is competition for those positions. Alhamdulillah. We have achieved a lot of them.
Let's talk about Sidinjai. A lot of people thought he was a very powerful, and he not even thought, he was a very powerful and instrumental member of the party. Served as a spokesperson, a very dynamic young person who had a lot of influence. All of a sudden, Sidi cross-carpeted to President Barrow, or he resigned from his position and he paid allegiance to Barrow. What has this departure left any gap or void in the APRC?
Not at all. City, let me say this. City has done well for the APRC.
Yes.
Before the impasse, during the impasse, and after the impasse.
Mm-hmm.
He is young, very dynamic, and very, very energetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I do appreciate all his efforts.
Mm-hmm.
And he, as you rightly said, he decided to change sides, whatever reasons best known to him. I want to say this: up to today, Sidi is as close to me as he was before. Up to today, as we speak, But it is made clear. I made it clear that with or without him, the APRC would move. And also, there are certain popularities that I have as Fabakary. It's because of APRC. Probably if I leave the APRC, I will never get those things again. So we have to look in between lines and see those things. But what is clear is he did very well for the party, and I'm happy that he has moved, and he has moved smoothly. He has not been sneaky.
Were you disappointed?
To go out and say he's going out.
Okay, were you disappointed?
Yeah, but no, I had always. No, it was not a surprise to me. He had always been in contact with me. Sidi had always been, in fact, it took longer because of sometimes I believed it may be my influence.
Okay.
It had not surprised me, but I never wanted him to go out. And for me, to be honest, I never think that was the best thing he could have done. But it's his right to go.
Okay, well, he said blood. I interviewed him 3 months ago. He said blood is thicker than water. He's joined Barrow because Barrow is his relative. Do you buy into that argument? Or some people are saying he's just selfish, like Futoy Mutak. He just decides to go somewhere else because APRC is a dead party. What's your opinion on that?
No, I think because Barrow is his relative.
But should politics be should you support somebody based on the fact that they are your relative? Do you buy into that idea? Should politicians be supported? Should we get into politics because of religion or relative?
That's where that's where the difference comes in.
Okay.
I would not go out because he is my relative.
Okay.
I would not have done it. But others would have done others support because of the relationship. So, but I mean, if I know that Barrow is his relative, that's true. It's not cooked. But as you rightly said, Barrow has been his relative, not the time he went, all the period.
Exactly.
He was in APRC and Barrow was in the UPDP. So he decided that Barrow is now ascended to presidency, and there are some probably pressures for him to help Barrow, to support him, etc. And he saw himself obliged, and then he went.
Okay. Well, fair enough. The audio that was released of your conversation with former President Yaya Jammeh, I personally interviewed you. I think you broke that news to me even before that audio came out. That day you told me that you had just spoken to Yaya Jammeh and he assured you that he was not going to stab your back. This is bringing you back to the MA stuff. What led to you guys bringing Yaya Jammeh into the picture? I mean, about that, was it going out of hand? Was MA too powerful, or was whatever? Because MA was claiming that he was talking to Yaya Jammeh, and Yaya told him that he wanted him to lead the party.
Yeah, you see, that is history now. But what is ever is, it was not that issue that made us talk to Yaya Jammeh. We have been talking to Yaya Jammeh even before those instances.
Okay.
So that was not it. Those issues, if you look at the conversations on these things, some of them were not even about MA, but it is all centered on the party's way forward, all advices and all these things. And the specific ones that came out for public consumption were the ones that relate to MA. And there were reasons why some people decided to get those things out. But what was clear? What became clear? I don't think we need to go over this one.
Well, it is important. It is important. You've not talked about it on our platform. A lot of people may not know.
No, I think we talked about this in almost all platforms because you see the records are there, the conversations are still there. Between the leaked audio messages are still there. And we came out with releases on the situation between us and MA. And MA also came on record to say that he had never been a member of the APRC himself.
Okay.
So I mean, those stories. But as I said, this will always happen in politics, especially in African politics. Somebody who has some little dollars, he comes in, he will shake the place and then move. Somebody who had what we call daraja,
but then you are not accepting that he was a powerful man in the party. That's what you are. Okay, I'm not daraja, wala I'm not tuti khalis. That gave him power because daraja khalis moy dole.
I don't want to. No, it affects me. I don't want to talk about it that way because it is affecting me. But I'm not comparison to MA.
But you said daraja khalis, amna daraja, amna khalis. Yang yo junja, amna daraja, amna khalis.
I'm not telling them mom amna daraja money. People have money and then come and influence politically. Am daraja, you influence politically. People can be snitched. They come in, knock heads, and make things up. These things are in politics. Okay. Now, MA, if he has money, that's fine. Me, I'm not aware that he has money.
Now, the Yaya Jammeh thing, you said you guys been talking to Yaya Jammeh before that. What guys were you guys talking to him about?
What do you mean?
What exactly what I asked? We want to know what you were talking to Yaya Jammeh about.
I leave the Gambia, I go to the United States, and I'm talking to my friends and family members here, and people begin to ask.
Well, this is the former president of the country that is still talking to the people of the country that has a stake in the country still. So we are interested to know what our former president was talking about. Whenever we saw him, like right now, a lot of people are watching you.
The former president who has voluntarily left the place and went out on his own. Now, what have you got to do with that one?
Okay. So was it about him coming back or something? Some people are saying that he was planning to do a coup d'etat, to come back and take over the country. A lot of things. So it was a security threat that you guys were talking to Yaya Jammeh. What's your reaction to that?
As I said to you, some people, even if you dance in word, they will tell you that you are killing me with stuff. Some people will never accept. Imagine,
Okay.
Imagine people saying he wants to do a coup d'etat, and they have no evidence.
They said he sent what's his name again? What's his name? Mendi and the other guy that came back. He sent them as advance. General Tamba. They came to set the ground for that coup d'etat he was planning. And General Tamba. What's your reaction?
You see, this is why. For me, this adds sugar to the whole thing to make me love Yaya Jammeh and APRC more. Because when I come to hear some of these things, and Mandimaham, I know that these people are always contorting stories. Because I have been talking to Yaya Jammeh. And I know what Yaya Jammeh tells me in terms of even politics and the stability of this country. And I am older than Yaya Jammeh. By far. If I come to hear somebody telling you another type of story, and when I will argue with this man on some issues, my friend, I cannot believe it. So if I come to hear some of these things, it emboldens me to support Yaya Jammeh more, believing that all these people are out is just to
Well, some people are saying, what do you say to the allegation that Yaya Jammeh and Daflen puppet on you guys were his puppet? He controlled you guys. You were scared of him. You just said yes to everything that he said, and even that is corroborated by some people. According to some people, that's corroborated with the conversations that you guys had with him in that audio, in which yenage watane aferi jegji and all those things. Some people think that you guys were too old to be engaging in those type of conversations with Yaya Jammeh, and it just goes to show how much he puppeted you guys.
You see, as I said, people are not honest. And whatever was said in that audio, those who are commenting those ways, they do worse things than that.
Does it make it right, though?
And the comment was between... No, listen, let me comment. The comment was something that had happened. Somebody gave you money, and somebody said, "Yamila ma bedi musol."
Yeah, yes.
What is bad about that?
That shows, I mean, of course, you guys, APRC is accused of being a party of four party, a playful party. You fit Hanbech that APRC always gathered in Kanilai, gathered in places, take Wandi Musol, Jabari Jamburi, people's wives. These are things that, these are allegations, huh?
Gambia. One, Gambia will not be what it is today. What they are doing. They talk about those people.
But then, like I said, Uncle, you keep bringing up other people doing it, but other people doing it doesn't make it right. Don't make it right.
No, we are not even that. We believe that we still have stress. It's not all work. It's work and play.
Okay, work and play, but then you can work and you can play, but playing with people's wives and other innocent young girls. Yaya Jammeh has been accused of.
All right. Can you tell me who plays with people's wives, please?
I mean, this is something that is out there, and it's for you to defend. This is for you to defend. This is for you to defend, not me. You are the one that.
I don't know. I've never seen it. You must tell me, because I have never known of seeing people playing with people's wives.
Okay. That audio don't confirm it. That audio doesn't corroborate that. That audio in which you are talking about.
That audio was very simple. No, that audio was very simple. I even commented it myself. When it was happening, I was not even there. Somebody was given to Ya Kumba, for instance, and the money looked a little bit plentiful. Simple. That's a joke. A joke, a normal Gambian joke.
Oh, okay.
And somebody sitting on his sidelines is making hair out of it when he is playing with women all around him, himself, or drinking alcohol with women. So what I'm saying is, those are out. APRC, we have no stress. I'm in time for stress, huh? Good to impact on livelihood of students and work, and then relax and free your mind.
You relax, okay, fair enough. That's fine. When are you guys still talking? Are you still talking to Yaya Jammeh?
Ever. That will continue for until he's back.
What is he up to? What is Yaya Jammeh up to lately?
No, I mean,
about like in the new year, we saw a video of him. Of course, Gambians would like to know. He's our former president. We haven't heard from him. We haven't seen him. Occasionally, in fact, when videos of Yaya Jammeh pop up, like when that audio came out, that was news in Gambia. It was trending. It was circulating all over. Not long ago, during the new year, a video of him also pop up at the New Year's party with Kofi Olomide of performing at Kofi's concert. And a lot of Gambians were happy to see him again. So just asking, are you talking to him? What is he up to?
No, when you say he was our former president, you speak like people like it. When people see him, his pictures that he is fine.
Well, I am on record to have always said that he is a former president and he needs to be respected as a former president, regardless of what. He needs to be respected as a former president.
Yeah, thank you for that, and it is good because every president will one day be a former president.
Yes.
So it's important that we look at. But what I'm saying is, some of these things you are talking about, circulating, and because he was our former president, hey, if some people would poison you to death if they hear them.
Okay, what then? Tell us what Yaya Jammeh is up to. What is Yaya Jammeh up to? You were talking to him, you said. What is he up to?
For me, Gambians are not willing, some Gambians rather, I'm sorry, are not willing to appreciate the good of Yaya Jammeh. In as much as you must on some of the limitations or weaknesses he has done, appreciate the good.
That's fair enough. That's right.
The man has done tremendously well for the country. For those of us who have witnessed the colonial, the PPP, and now, you can't make comparisons. Under the most difficult circumstances. No.
So where is he now? Is he planning to come back to Gambia? During your last Congress, you still declared him the supreme leader of the party, as well as the flag bearer for 2021 and 2026 election. Am I right? I read your document and I watched your statement that you gave. You made him the flag bearer for 2021 and 2026. Is that right? And the supreme leader of the party. Is that right?
When the issue of Yaya Jammeh and APRC comes up, people get so excited, so nervous, and they say a lot of things that.
Well, that's why I brought you to clarify these things. That's why I want to talk to you about these things.
No. We don't need to clarify these things. We have abundantly made clear that the supreme leader of the Alliance for Patriotic Orientation and Construction is APRC, is Yaya Jammeh.
Okay.
But we are equally aware also that to be a leader of a political party in the Gambia, to be an executive member of a political party, you must be resident in the Gambia.
Yes.
And there are those who are trying to throw us to a line whereby they will be able to get us.
How? But then you guys had your Congress, huh?
Yeah. That's what, when we submitted our names, the names of the political leadership, the executive to the IEST, Yaya Jammeh's name was not there.
I am coming to that, sir. What I am getting at is I am talking about during your Congress, what you guys talked about and the document that you guys published. I had this document.
At the Congress, we said that. We said categorically, we made it very clear.
Yes.
Yaya Jammeh, President Jammeh, Congress delegates, elected him as the supreme leader of the APRC.
Not only the supreme leader, what else?
Undoubted.
Not only the supreme leader. Is he also not the flag bearer for 2021 and 2026?
You see, what I'm saying is, what I am saying is, the supreme leader of a political party summarizes all for anybody to make any other analysis.
Sir, I would want you to really tell us specifically. I saw the document. I have it. You guys indicated. Can you just accept? If you guys did, just say you did. You are in the document. You indicated that.
No, you never saw the document then.
Huh? Ahankai. I saw it. I did analysis on this. I follow you guys very well. I did analysis on this. I did analysis on this document. I was looking at the document, reading the document. Shortly after your Congress, you guys. Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying. Yes, go ahead.
I was just asking you to confirm that you guys have adopted at your Congress to have Yaya Jammeh as the supreme leader of the party, and also have him as the flag bearer for the not only 2021, but 2021 and 2026. And you also talked about all the things you talked about with the agreement with ECOWAS, wanting your demands to have Yaya Jammeh back. I read the document. It has all of these things. But can you confirm to us that this was actually adopted? Because any paper can be prepared by anybody and put out. But I would like you to...
Yeah, listen. What you fail to understand is you must have a document that has been corrected for presentation at a Congress. All right? What I'm trying to tell you is, what I'm trying to tell you, imagine you know that we are fools that can be thrown into the baskets of people to get us out. We know the laws, we are aware of the laws of this.
Will I take it that you are dodging my question, sir? Will I take it that you don't want to be implicated?
No, I'm coming in. I am coming. No, you are saying that you read the document.
Yes.
And is there for 2021, 2025, etc. That's what you are saying.
Yes. Is that true?
You may read a document that is prepared, but amended. It was not the document that was presented or announced.
But then this is the same document that. Imagine no, but that's the same document that you actually read during your Congress. You read this document during your Congress.
No, listen. No, my friend, I was there. I am telling you, at a Congress that is coming in 2021, you are going to declare somebody for the election and for the next election. Where in the world have you seen that?
But you guys did.
No. Look, I am the leader. I am telling you now, and it's happened in my presence. Taking something else.
Okay.
What I am telling you is Yaya Jammeh, former President Jammeh is our supreme leader, and we want him as our leader. I don't know if you hear me. And come the 2021 election, we want him, everything being equal, to be our candidate.
So you want him? It's not that
we believe in him. We believe he can deliver.
So you want him to be?
Why are we giving him that leadership?
Okay. So if I understand you, you want him. You are now changing it to you want him. That's not the language on the document.
No. We are not changing anything. We are not changing anything. What I'm telling you is we have declared President Jammeh as our supreme party leader.
And candidate.
That is very clear, I hope.
And candidate, not only and candidate.
What I am saying, think to me now. Listen to this also. You know, you said when I talked to you, you said you have read the documents. I think that's what you said.
Yes. Yes.
And I can assure you, some of the documents you might have read have been put to meet the circumstances. And the announcement, what I'm saying, now listen to me very carefully. So what I'm saying is, we could not have said that he was going to be our presidential, our flag bearer for 2021 and 2026. Even if that is what we want. Because 2026 will go to a Congress also. So if that was on the draft, that would have been amended.
Okay.
But put it in the basket or outside the basket. What we are saying is, none we have seen anybody. We have seen Yaya Jammeh as our supreme leader. And for any leadership portfolio that comes in, we want Yaya Jammeh to lead us.
So will I take it that dangen don nax sen delegates then? Or dangen don bamalwa APRC by telling them dangen don bamalwa APRC?
No, it's the people who misled the delegates. You know what? Yaya Jammeh is our leader, and Yaya Jammeh is what we are going to put up. But what I'm telling you is Yaya Jammeh cannot be put up for 2021 and 2026.
Then why say that to the people though? And you read this document officially, and you guys also published it.
No, that was not read. That part, I challenge anybody to bring audio of that document in our challenge anybody.
Okay.
You bring it out, I give you a light.
But you publish it, right?
It's misinformation that some of the very newspapers who have done it. Look, we were on the ground. We prepared these things. We allowed it to read. And we are talking, people agree with us.
I'm having difficulty for my Facebook to load, but I would have actually pulled this document for you and read the exact language that you guys said, and it didn't say it like you were presenting him, that you already have him. You want, like as if you are putting it there, okay, you wanted him to be. It wasn't written in that language that we wanted him to be. We want him to be.
No. I was just, I know, it's a lesson. What I'm telling you, because say, for instance, for Yaya Jammeh to be our flag bearer for 2021 and 2026.
Okay.
That document will not be read.
Yes, what you guys adapted, but Lulungen adopt though that he was going to be Nemomgen adapt for Muneka Lulu.
No, I don't. Yo, what you announced? Me, I saw the document that was read.
Okay. All right. Okay, fair enough. Now Yaya Jammeh is coming.
Let me tell you, there were documents circulated. They were supposed to be correct. They were not corrected. They were circulated. Some of those documents got into people's hands. But I'm telling you, look, we are an organized party.
We had, like, Mr. Tamba, Honorable Tamba, we have APRC militants and top APRC people who circulated this thing happily. Happily.
I am Jatta, not Tamba.
Yes, okay, yes, Mr. Jatta, I'm sorry. That they circulated, yes, Mr. Jatta, they circulated this thing. APRC, top APRC militants and people that are part of your party, people who attended the Congress, actually shared these things on social media. And you were saying that, okay, it's a leaked document.
Listen and you understand.
Okay, make me understand.
No. Listen and understand.
Okay, make me understand.
Listen and understand. You will be able to understand.
Okay.
I said these documents that we have prepared got circulated 2021, 2026. These are, and when it came, we look at it, we will make sure we do the corrections. To see us as a responsible party. And to meet the requirements and other these things that's necessary.
Okay.
So even if it is on the draft 2020, it comes for us to present to the we remove the 2020s.
Okay. Fair enough.
And you sitting somewhere, you have the old draft with you.
Okay, so are you telling us in essence that the document have been updated? If that's what you are telling us, the document has been updated.
Even before the document that was circulated was not what was announced. It was amended. I'm aware.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's
so
fine.
What I'm saying is, why do we have to declare President Jammeh for the 2026?
Okay. But even for 2021, though, do you believe, even for 2021, do you believe that Yaya Jammeh is going to come back?
Yes. Oh, yes. 2021, yes. Everything being equal, that's our wish. We have to make it our flag.
Okay. So 2021, Fabakary Tombong Jatta is not contesting.
As I said. Pardon?
I say we just read earlier. I read from somebody. Fatmata Rahmakoka, one of the actually online bloggers, wrote earlier that Lamin Tamba is being prepared to be the flag bearer for 2021. Some are saying it's Fabakary Tombong Jatta. Of course, you are telling us it's Yaya Jammeh. Who is the APRC flag bearer or candidate for 2021?
You know. As I said, this is the game of politics. Game of politics. In politics, there are people who have the command at the time. So if other versions into the command system, it's just to create wisdom and misunderstanding. We have done a course. We have stated what we've just put about it. And the APRC National Executive there mandated with the affairs of the party now. So if people are coming with other outside this and all these things, it's just to create confusion in the party and create enmity.
So who is the candidate? Who is going to be the APRC flag bearer for 2021?
It's going to be the APRC flag.
Yes.
For 2021.
Yes.
For us, it's Yaya Jammeh.
It's Yaya
For us,
Jammeh.
it's Yaya
Okay.
Jammeh.
Okay. But IEC said that you guys
Yes.
don't have Yaya Jammeh in there. You have yourself on the document you submitted to them. I listened to Mama Jai said that. So how would you reconcile
that was what I was trying to explain to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was what I'm trying to explain to you.
Mm-hmm. I was going to
So
come
in
to
as
it.
much as we want Yaya Jammeh as leader of the party,
Mm-hmm.
it must be in conformity with the laws of the Gambia.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And the laws of the Gambia states that to be in the national executive of a political party,
Mm-hmm.
you must be resident in the Gambia.
Mm-hmm.
So why should we put Yaya Jammeh's name?
Okay.
Why
So
should we put Yaya Jammeh's name?
is that playing games then? Are you
That
guys
may-
play?
that
Are
may
you guys
surprise
playing?
them.
Are you guys playing game? Because you just told me that Yaya
They are
Jammeh
playing
is.
game.
You just told me that Yaya Jammeh
He
is the one that you
supreme
guys.
leader. Yes, the supreme leader. Yes, he's supreme leader, but he's not in the national executive here.
Yeah, but you just told me that he's supposed to be your party leader and flag bearer, and you're just telling me that you submitted otherwise to the
You can
IEC.
make somebody can be a flag bearer and a party leader without being a member of the executive.
But why didn't you submit his name
We
though to
can,
the IEC?
we can meet.
But
We
why?
can meet at the Congress.
Mhm.
We can meet at the Congress, and we are making you our flag bearer of the party.
Yes, I understand that.
Yes, so that's why I make you this thing.
I understand that, but
So
then that
what is your
name
problem?
should be submitted to the IEC. But his name was not submitted to the IEC as the party leader. It was your name that
No.
was submitted.
So submit the name. What? Name to the IEC for what? For flag bearer.
Yes, a party leader. You guys made him the party leader, right?
No. The flag bearer issue, the IEC has nothing to do with the flag bearer issue as at now. When the parties decide at any time, they go and give them, they submit their submission.
Okay.
As regards the executive of the party,
Mm-hmm.
the IEC has nothing to do with it. We tell them who our executives are.
Mm-hmm. So, in a
Yes.
nutshell, how do you see the
So,
IEC? You don't seem to
if-
have
if-
confidence in the IEC. You don't seem to have confidence in them.
Yes, they always prove, because the IEC, why should the IEC go on air to tell people that Yaya Jammeh's name is not on the list and it's Fabakary Tombong, Ya Kumba Jaiteh, and do this and this?
They were asked about it.
Even the question was not there towards that. No, they were trying to, they wanted us to give, they had anticipated that we are going to put Yaya Jammeh's name. And they did not see Yaya Jammeh's name. And they would have loved to see his name so that they can come on us as violators of the law. And that they now want to bring deception with the party, discredit us.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they came on the air.
Mm-hmm.
What has the IEC to do with that?
Mm-hmm.
They have not done this. They have it's not your business. If people want to know, let them ask the political parties. But your intent was to create deception.
No, but they were asked the question though, just like I'm asking you questions. I'm asking you questions about other individuals and other institutions, including them. And you are saying what you know.
Specifically, what was he asked?
Huh?
No, ask what was he asked?
They were asked about not only APRC but different parties. They were asked about different parties, including the APRC, and in the process of talking about the APRC.
No. Let's be APRC. What was asked about the APRC that wanted him to talk about Yaya Jammeh Toteje, Yaya Jammeh Boku, Fabakary Tombong Jatta-Party, etc. What brought it about?
So you really don't like.
That was his intention. That was not a response to a question that was asked.
So how would you describe Alieu Momad Njie? Okay, describe Alieu Momad Njie for us. Describe Alieu Momad Njie for us.
Him?
Yes, describe him for us. Yes.
Let me describe him.
Yes.
Alieu Momad Njie he does not tell the truth. He's not credible. He's honest and lacks integrity.
He does not tell the truth. He's not credible. He lacks integrity.
Yeah.
Yet, is that all? Is that all your description of him? These three words? Incredible, lacks integrity. What else?
I don't want I don't want to personalize it, go into details.
Yeah, well, okay, but then you guys made him the chairman, though. You guys appointed him IEC chairman. I mean, how would you?
Sometimes you follow things wrongly. I have said to you, even when the results were announced, and the results were announced on that Friday, IEC chairman was seen by the President Jammeh and us.
Okay. So since when did you have this stance of incredible? When did you have this position about him? These three words you used to describe him.
Now, he came. When we came to understand, he said there were electoral mistakes in elections, and they were not forced to give these results. You had all the time. Elections so sensitive. You must make sure that the final result is authentic. You came out and brought out those differences, and then from certain small investigations, we understand a lot of things that happened. Oh, my friend.
Anyway, that's fine. I definitely thank you for this time.
And nobody talks about that, those areas. Most people they talk about, we refuse to accept the results. What led the refusal, nobody talks about it. Very few, not those who are...
Well, Aliu Mamanjai himself said he was threatened. Aliu Mamanjai said he was threatened. He said the back and forth, the reason why they stopped announcing the result at some point, going back and forth, he was threatened, he was offered bribe, and he was told different things, and eventually Yaya Jammeh accepted to concede defeat. He was informed about that by Lamin Manga and Malik Jones. He mentioned this over and over in few interviews. So what is your take on that? He said he was being threatened.
Aliu Maman himself said on radio that Yaya Jammeh asked him to add 5,000 votes.
Okay.
And Aliu also said on the radio that throughout that time he had not talked with Yaya.
So he's
Same man.
So are you accusing of inconsistency?
And two, logically, a difference of 50,000. And I want you to help me to win. And the difference between me and the winner is 50,000, and I ask you to add 25,000. Reasonable for any human being?
Fair enough,
this
sir.
This you need to go to court. His own utterances and actions have made him incredible.
Okay.
He cannot be credited for anything. His utterances and behavior himself, we heard from him. And now that we are getting information from parties who have been parties to it, or who were observers and who have participated indirectly, giving us information, we will have whole we have a holistic record of what Momonjai and his team did.
Okay, fair enough. You are watching and listening to the Nyohobai show on the Gambian Talents TV. We've been on air for a minute, and we thank the Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta. I'll ask him on two more issues, and we will close the interview. One is, of course, this issue of deportation, sir. I know I have a lot more issues that we would have loved to cover. This is not the typical interview, but since my median interview with you, once we exhaust these things, next time I interview you, we would not have to go back and forth on these things because we would have exhausted a good amount of it. My next question to you is the issue of deportation. The past 3 months, mass deportation has been taking place from Germany. Last year, on March 7th, we saw a plane that landed in the Gambia with 45 Gambians from the United States. And this has not happened during you guys' time. I've said it on air over and over again. Myself, I actually happened to end up getting my situation taken care of and everything, because of the fact that APRC or Yaya Jammeh or a government or the government of President Yaya Jammeh would not issue a travel document at the time, or had delays or whatever was going on, the negotiation with the United States government, and as a result, the laws of the United States said I could be released on an order of supervision while I take care of stuff, and eventually I got my situation taken care of. The rest is history. I've talked about it. But I can say that during Yaya Jammeh's time, outright travel documents were not issued, or were very much delayed, or were only issued to a few people, both in the United States and other places. Now, with this new government, not only are they issued to individuals and have individuals been deported, we've seen mass deportation. The median one was from the United States, of 45 people last year, and on March 7th. And this year, December, we had 15 people sent back to the Gambia. January, we have 15 people. February, we have, January, we have 15. That's 30. And then February, we had 20 people. A total of 40 people have been deported, like in a mass deportation form. And the rest, of course, are coming in individual flights here and there. How do you see this whole deportation thing? The government, President Barrow, been quiet about it until last week, when there has been a lot of pressure with threats coming from these deportees, and accused of somebody allegedly killing, one of the deportees allegedly killing 2 people at Tanka, and all the other things, the demonstration that took place last week, Thursday. All of these things put together, what is your take on the issue of the deportation? The government been quiet. Finally, they released a couple of statements denying signing any deal with EU or the German government, and finally announcing that they have put a moratorium or have stopped temporarily the deportation. What's your take on this issue?
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I must remind you what I told you at the onset.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot, Gambians must take the lead in their own hands.
Mm-hmm.
Gambians can no longer be misled by politicians or any other for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
For the issue of deportation, for me, governments have their own programs,
mm-hmm.
and things and agreements,
mm-hmm.
That may differ from one government to the other.
Mm-hmm.
The bad side of the whole thing is when government cannot tell the citizen the truth.
Mm-hmm.
If they feel they have taken a decision that is against the interest of the people,
mm-hmm.
they are out to act.
Mm-hmm.
Let them tell them, we took the decision, but we will look into it and try to put a stop and find another solution.
Mm-hmm.
Stop misinforming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the issue of deportation, as you rightly said, no flight comes to a country,
mm-hmm.
or deportee comes to a country without
mm-hmm.
the relevant documentations and without the government of the day knowing
mm-hmm.
a deportee.
Mm-hmm.
2, most deportees don't have documentations. It's the country of origin that verifies and issues out documents.
Mm-hmm.
2, the foreign office, then, we had them talk with various government agencies about deportation under the back way.
Mm-hmm.
I vividly remember when there was an announcement around November, December 1997.
Mm-hmm.
November, December 1997.
Mm-hmm.
When the GRTS announced that the ban on Gambians, put on Gambian senior officials by United States of America, Yaya Jammeh's government,
mm-hmm.
by the United States, has been lifted.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it an outcry. They were proud of it. That ban was lifted.
Mm-hmm.
And when the press asked me, they said the ban was lifted. Find out what led to that ban and why was it lifted?
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, the press secretary to the American president came out to say that following discussions with the Gambia government on the repatriation of Gambians to the Gambian citizens to the Gambia,
mm-hmm.
they have reached an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And in the circumstances, they have lifted the ban on the government by the U.S. government
mm-hmm.
whilst Yaya Jammeh was there.
Mm-hmm.
So that means they have agreed to bring those Gambians back home. They have verified them, given them authentication and certificates. And they have even received money to be able to revamp people and the deportees and the people who went by the back way.
You have any evidences to back that?
Actually is.
You have any evidence to back that they have received money?
About what?
That they have received money to deport the Gambians.
They announced it.
Huh?
They themselves announced it over the air. No, we don't know all, but what announced about they even was it 2 days ago? They were trying to clear air, and then they were talking about $3.9 million euros. There were some monies announced, but my problem is, as leaders of our country, we usually take out of office to swear to protect the constitution and the people of this country.
Yes.
The interests of the people of this country. This is what we swear to protect. We are not here to protect the interests of the other people. If that would ruin the interests of our own people. So it's a crime. This is criminality. For me, the Gambia government gains a lot from Gambians in the diaspora's remittances to the Gambia. Not only their families, Gambia government itself. Foreign direct investment. They get a lot of money. And it helps the economy. Aside the benefit it has for those people and their families here. You can go and mortgage those things for few dollars or to get good name from these people. When these people get back here, they get frustrated. You cannot do anything for them. They have nothing here. They have no employment. But it leads them into violence, craziness, mental disorder. Look, me, I honestly believe, except when you are a criminal in Europe, our doors for deportation. The wives should be able to manage with good people there. Some of the people are there, they are due to their countries there, to the country. Some of the people are only there to acquire skills and knowledge, and they come back home. If you are a criminal, I will understand. But mass deportation, that's only affecting the Gambia. Why the Gambia? And we are one of the more peaceful in the world.
But then,
I remember myself.
Go ahead.
In 2014-15, the Americans wanted to deport 2,000 Gambians from the United States. I was here. I had audience with the big man on it. And that was what led to that ban, because they threatened that if we don't agree, they will ban senior government officials from travel to the United States. That led to the ban. That was the time when the president was telling us that he has not sent them. He is not aware that these people are there. His government has not sent. His money is not there. How can he be there? How can he be moved to bring those people back? Would he be able to do what those people are doing for their own parents and themselves? And he will add, when they were coming here, did we invite them? They came here and took our people as slaves. Did we invite them? So for the president, it's a crime.
So you think the government has failed Gambia? You think the government of Adama Barrow has failed Gambians on the issue of the deportation?
Very serious, because they promised Gambians that they were going to have free visas to go to Europe. Now those free visas turned to be deporting them free without visa from abroad to the Gambia.
But what is your reaction to
and that's why some of them
That's why some of them what?
Yes.
You said some of them what?
I said that's why that's why some of them were insulted Southwest, because they had thought that these people would give them free visas and protections in Europe and go to Europe. Some of them are even claiming that they are now apologizing. They have even lied against us, just in the name of the coalition. What happened?
That's what I was about to say, that a lot of people said you guys created all this mess, and the government still continues to say that, well, we have inherited a bad governance, bad government, we have inherited this, we have inherited all this mess from you guys, that you guys created this backway thing. In fact, we've had the Minister of Information, Ibrahim Asila, on national television talking about how your government aided and abetted this process. Of course, there were buses all over in the country that were lined up freely to transport these people to Mali, Niger, and of course through the backway and hand them to human traffickers. And there were people who actually, even publicly or voluntarily, talked about their experience or their involvement in this human trafficking, who had even interviews with Al Jazeera and all of that. If you watch the interview or not, yes, this is what the minister said himself, that it was your government who aided and abetted this process, and it is what led to our young Gambians migrating in mass to Europe or through Italy, and of course through the Sahara to the Mediterranean, and finally to Italy.
Minister has not said. Yeah, has the minister said in his release that it was the current minister of Amadou Sane who was victim trafficking through the UDP in the migrants in outside the Gambia?
Has the minister said what? You said, has the minister said what?
And they're making them go and say, in Gambia, there is no democracy, there is nothing here. They were doing it. Did he say that?
Did he say what? Can you repeat that, sir? That was breaking. You say, can the minister say?
Did he say?
That was breaking.
That it was to the borders. He said, created the conducive environment for Gambians to go out to the diaspora by providing where, etc. Am I right?
Hello? It's like we are not hearing Fabakary Tombong Jatta of APRC. You are watching and listening to the Fast Nyohobai show with Pa Usman. Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta of the APRC, of course, is my guest right now. We are going to talk to Honorable Jatta once again. Hello, sir. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Yes, you were saying something. You said, what did the minister say?
I said, did the minister say to you that the former Minister of Finance, Amadou Sane, was caught and convicted on trafficking people from here into the diaspora in the name of tarnishing the image of this country and getting them political asylum there?
Has there evidences of his conviction?
They were using their letterhead.
Has there been evidences of that? Some people say that conviction was wrongfully.
He was convicted.
That it was wrongfully. He was wrongfully convicted.
How can you say that?
That's what I'm just telling you. What some people are arguing, huh? I'm saying I'm not. That's not my statement. That's not my statement. A lot of people are saying Amadou Sane was wrongfully convicted. He was forced to come on TV and confess on. I watched that video. I watched his interview on GRTS or his video in which he was talking.
He was convicted by a court of law. What else? Okay,
fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, then it means all the convictions now happening. They are unfairly convicted.
Okay.
How can we Gambians move in this direction?
Okay. Well.
You went through a due process. You are convicted and you have the right to appeal.
Okay.
And people are saying it's wrongly convicted. What then is rightly conviction? What then becomes rightly conviction?
Well, they take it to
when
be politically. They take it to be politically motivated. Anyway, so you believe that the government failed us, and Amadou Sane signed this. Amadou Sane helped in facilitating.
No,
okay.
Amadou Sane. No. Yes, with people caught with letters. You saw them. Letters written by him and signed by him. UDP official letters, letterheads.
Okay.
Look. Oh.
So what recommendation what do you want to recommend to the government about the issue of deportation? A lot of young people who are currently in Germany are listening.
Everything. Well, what I want to recommend to government, especially to President Barrow, is to look into the issue and negotiate the issue of this repatriation of youth to the Gambia.
Okay.
Let him renegotiate with the diaspora governments, because it is going to instability within the country, and that in turn will make people even to leave.
Okay.
So we are going to defeat the purpose. So go into negotiations and find our best ways of solving these problems. And let them start. In fact, let them start by looking at the criminal aspect of it. The world is a globalized world. People move about. People should be able to move about, get what you want, move peacefully without hindrance. We cannot all the time be accepting what they want.
Okay.
They must look. If I am in the United States or I'm in Germany, I am working or I am going. What is the problem?
Well, if people are breaking immigration laws,
government's own interest, government officials. I want to believe that some of them were let into this by giving them certain favors. Because me, I cannot understand how I can allow, following a revolution of this nature, allow my people to be repatriated to the country. They will knock down your gains. Unless you have personal benefit.
What's your book? That's it. That's Fabakary Tombong Jatta, party leader of the APRC. You've heard his take on the issue of the deportation. This is the Nyohobai show you are watching and listening to from the Gambian Talents TV. Finally, APRC, we've been on air for 3 hours. I know. I'm very sorry and I'm proud of you. I promise it's not going to be like this next time. APRC, finally, the way forward for the party. We are, like you said, the party is gaining momentum. These deportees are talking. And a lot of things are frustrating people. And I'm saying this based on the statistic, people that follow us, for example. We often hear comments. We wish Jammeh was back. If Yaya Jammeh was here. We wish APRC was back. This is why we wanted Yaya Jammeh. In fact, I heard somebody close who said a few days ago that yes, he preferred Yaya Jammeh, regardless of what. A lot of people are saying, okay, well, how about the killings? How about the torturing? And that person said they even preferred Yaya Jammeh with all that. So some people are beginning to regret the demise or the departure of the APRC party. Now that you guys are coming back, we've seen your rallies the last time. This last one you guys did, people did not believe the numbers. Some said you're still going to Casamas to get people from Casamas to come and support. Before, you were accused of using government officials or forcing government officials to come out in your rallies that, okay, the numbers were not real. These were government officials that you guys forced. Now that we've seen what happened, how do you feel as the leader of the party? And what is your reaction to those people who have this notion that you went to Casamas and all the things that I said? What is your reaction to that?
Yeah, if those people are coming from Casamas, it only means indirectly that government, your Gambians, we are in trouble. We have no security.
Okay.
Because it's government responsible for security and protecting they are not, then we are vulnerable. Let's create more fear in us. And we've had these things over and over and over and over. But what people have said is the truth. You see, in as much as we had our limitations as a government, it was clear that we were out to protect Gambian interests and Gambians. And that's key. You protect Gambians and Gambian interest. Because that should be your number one rule. That's what is missing now. It is missing. And we also know that in leadership, you must be able to make decisions that may not be favorable by some other people. But between you and God is the best interest. You must be able to say the truth and establish the facts. These are some of the changes. And you must have feelings. You cannot be a leader without feelings. It doesn't mean when I have everything, I should not know. I cannot feel for somebody who has not eaten for 1 day or 2 days. So these are some of the things. And if you look at the Gambia now, we've taken steps backwards on many grounds. Even education itself, its affordability is now a challenge. Security is a challenge for everybody now. Commodity prices are challenging.
Okay. Sorry, we are losing Fabakary there right now. We think. Yes.
So, and in addition, you have a repatriation of our youth from the diaspora coming. We have internal humblings. What else? That come the first 2 years of this government will be all of us.
Sorry, we just lost Fabakary once again. We will try to get hold of him. We apologize for this. It's been a long, interview, of course. We are trying to get hold of him again. Sorry about it. I apologize. You are watching and listening to the Fast show on the Gambian Talents TV. Pausman Youth is on the line with Alaji Fabakary Tombong Jatta, the party leader of the APRC, of course. Sorry about that. We will bring Fabakary back once again to discuss with him. This is the Fast show on the Gambian Talents TV. Once again, yes. Yes, Honorable. Sorry about that once again.
Can I show you when the party comes back to power, we will double positively in this country.
So APRC
Gambia will become the home of every Gambian and every Gambian.
So APRC is not forming a coalition with Barrow?
Forming a coalition with?
Barrow, as alleged by people. So a lot of people say Barrow is working on forming a coalition with APRC, that you guys are cooking that. You went to visit him once or twice, from what some people are saying. You met him and you guys are discussing forming a coalition with Barrow. Some people even said that you made mention of progress being made. Some people said Barrow is even thinking of pardoning Yaya Jammeh to come back, and then APRC will form a coalition with Barrow, and that's one of the conditions that you guys are asking him in order to form a coalition. What can you tell us about that?
The interesting thing is people just sit back, imagine and say what they want to say. And interestingly, it's being listened to by a lot of people. Honestly.
That's why we brought you in to clear the air on these issues.
No, but we must also learn from those things that we should not. If we encourage those things to happen, we will continue to be relying on clarification and clarification.
But
now,
the
one thing is Barrow has
important.
no political party.
He's working on forming
yes,
one.
There are certain clarifications that are important.
He's working on forming one.
No, there are certain ones that everybody knows. Huh?
I say he's working on forming one. Evidently, it's there that there are all indications that Barrow is working on forming his own political party.
I said Barrow.
If there was time, I would have asked you about his
current
relationship with his vice president. But then there's no time for that. So let's just stick to the APRC issue here. That APRC.
I'm coming. Unless then you cannot talk about a coalition without a political party. For us. So it means it is premature for anybody to talk about that possibility now, if there is a political party. Two, we as a political party, we are open to dialogue with any other political party. We have said this a million times. But it does not mean that when we have discussions with you, we are with you or you are with us. We are saying that we are the biggest political party. That's what we are claiming. We are second to nobody. But we can talk with any political party. Either agree or disagree. The other thing is, I have told you that President Barrow is the president of all Gambians, of the Republic of the Gambia, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
We don't belong to the same political party, but as president, he's my president.
Mm-hmm.
And my way is to take care of my welfare and my concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And if he calls to see me, either for advice or consultations or opinions or for whatever, I should really avail myself.
Mm-hmm.
But why should that be a problem? I told you here that we are not the opposition that think that any time the opposition meets the president is gone there or this thing is happening. That people say what they want. We know we don't belong to the same party with President Barrow. We belong to APRC, and we are APRC, but he's our president. We can talk with him. We can engage him. He can seek for our opinion on issues. It's left to him to take or not to take. We can give him whatever. But people see that as a problem. Fabakary has gone to Barrow. So Fabakary should not go to Barrow.
Well,
I have said this. I will repeat it. I will repeat it. For us as a political party, our doors are open to all. We'll let nobody take us for granted. We are in opposition with a difference. We would engage government on all issues, not to go violent. We believe in dialogue. We believe in discipline. Gambia belongs to all of us. So this is our stand. So for us, there is no partnership, to the best of my knowledge. In fact, there could only be partnership when there are political parties. And as you said, if he forms a political party and he wants partners, he wants us to partner, it can be discussed. If we agree, as we had discussed with other political parties before.
So how about if he doesn't form his own political party, he does what he did with UDP, try to engage your leadership to give up the leadership to him. That's what he tried with UDP, and they didn't accept him, and that's what brought the saga. Supposedly, if he tries to get APRC to give up the leadership to him, how about that option?
We asked him to join us, the APRC, and we'll be able to discuss.
So if you are open to giving Barrow a chance to lead the party?
For us to give Barrow a chance to lead the APRC party.
Yes.
Well, I said you cannot lead the APRC party if you are not a member of the APRC.
Yeah, obviously, if that is the case, he will come and join. I mean, PPP did it. They just gave Papa Njai the opportunity to lead the party. So if Barrow wants that,
now that's where negotiations start. But in the absence of being a member, you are preempting saying if he becomes a member.
Of course, you know, Barrow being the president, he's not just going to announce he's a member of the APRC. Negotiation will not start from there. Negotiation would have to be done and sealed and confirmed, and then he will finally become a member. But Barrow will not just, you know that you are just telling me that Barrow will not negotiate you guys first. Barrow will not join APRC, then negotiate. That's not going to happen. You know that for sure.
Yeah, that's Barrow's side. That's President Barrow's side. What about the APRC side? We are not desperate.
Okay.
I said we are a party, and we believe we are the largest party in this country. We are growing every day in numbers. We are open to things, but we cannot be taken for granted. I said this.
Okay.
If there are principles that must be followed in certain political negotiations, in the absence of those things, you cannot do those things. It's possible we negotiate with President Barrow and we agree as a party with him on a thing and we all do it. It's possible we negotiate and we don't agree. He goes his way, we go our way, and we go to do with other political parties.
But you are telling you are suggesting that he must join APRC first, then negotiations. In a situation where you guys don't agree, what is going to happen?
I said for you to head the APRC, you must be a member of the APRC. You cannot head the APRC without being a member.
Okay, fair enough.
This is what I said.
Okay, fair enough. Now, finally, your take on Barrow and his vice president. We've seen currently the energy between them. They have bad blood all over. I mean, between Barrow Youth Movement, President Barrow, and the vice president, there seems to be a lot of negative energy with politics going on. When Barrow says this and throws shades at the vice president also holds rally and throws shades at Barrow. What's your take on this issue?
You see, I'm not surprised by these recent developments. And I can remember telling people about this. You know, when during the impasse, President Barrow was in office as an independent president for the coalition, and we went into parliament and we went into parliamentary elections only to see political parties of their own candidates. I told some of my close allies and some of my executive members that President Barrow would fail. He needs the support of the entire executive, political, and the National Assembly to carry out his mandate. I said, with political parties all going on for their candidates, the National Assembly will no longer be coalition MPs. It will be UDP, APRC, and political parties who usually discuss and accountable to their party leaders and their parties. I said Barrow will have a problem, and at the end, the coalition would disintegrate. I told them a long time. And that this thing, it should not be a surprise to anyone.
Why not?
President Barrow was a member of the UDP. He was a member of the UDP. He resigned. Now, the issue of President Barrow Youth Movement, for me, it should not have any problems. Youth Movement, Fabakary Tombong Jatta Movement, Lamin Sonko Youth Movement, no problem. For me, but that was it created a havoc and a lot of dissension to a level that it attracted the UDP itself and created a barrier between the Barrow camp and the other camp. So for me, there are no surprises. This all what we are witnessing, I've said it a million times to people. That and if you look at the system as it is now, look, however powerful you are as president, you need support serious technical support, not only from the executive, from legislature, and from all other functional institutions of government. So where you have those, everybody who is in your cabinet is looking for money for his own political position. Nobody wants the other seat because it will give you credit against them when it comes to elections. You go to a parliament where you don't even know what happens there because they will not talk to you unless you do your political case. In a situation like that, my brother, you don't expect success. A complete standstill. And people would blame President Barrow, the coalition, all of the players they should blame. Yes, this is what is happening.
Okay, so do you think Barrow should fire Vice President or should he honorably resign? What's your take on that? Because there is like really bad blood between them. You see the Ya Kumba Jaiteh case, you see Barrow fired Almami Funding Tal, you see Ya Kumba Jaiteh, and all of these things that are happening. Just yesterday we had about 6 executive members of the UDP also being fired. I mean, Unda Nyang and others who supposedly were part of the Barrow camp. So it's the bad blood is there. What do you think should happen?
If I were Barrow, I will fire the vice president. I will not allow him to resign.
Why?
If I were the vice president, if I were the vice president, I would resign. I will not allow Barrow the president to fire me.
Okay. Why? You said said two contradictory things. You said if you were Barrow, you said Barrow stance and double stance.
If I were the president, I will not allow my vice president to fire him.
Why?
If I were the vice president, yeah, because he will go to credit.
Because what?
If I were the vice president,
I want you to take them. I want you to take them. I want you to take them one by one, sir, and justify them. You said if you were the president, what will you do and why will you do it? Can you elaborate on that? If you were the president.
If I were the president, I said I would fire. I would not wait for the vice president to resign. I would fire him.
Why?
That's what I said.
I said why?
Because if he resigns, you are giving him more credibility for what has happened and for what he will say. And it is obvious, open and evident that there are conflicting, you people are in complete conflict. It's not secret anymore. To talk this way, he talks another way. Sometimes you will not even recognize the presence of the vice president. A lot of things are happening. People are being sacked because they are affiliated to the president by the party of the vice president. So all these things are known. So I will just sack. I will not wait for you to.
Well, that will be politically motivated then.
And I said
that will be politically motivated.
Not political. It's a political appointment. It's a political appointment.
Okay.
And it is there not towards me achieving my objectives. It is undermining my achievements as the leader.
Okay.
Why do I wait?
Okay.
I need complete loyalty and commitment from everybody. And if I were also the vice president, I would resign. I will not wait for the president to dismiss me or revoke his nomination.
And what is your justification?
Because that will give him. My justification is it is known to me that what he is doing, I don't like it, and I'm holding an office that he has appointed me to, and we are at complete loggerheads. I will show the people, because of those principles, I am resigning from his office. I go with my credibility and my dues. Then I wait under those conditions until I am dismissed, and I'm going to tell people what are they going to listen to?
So you think they are both doing injustice to the Gambian people? You think they are both doing?
I mean, this one is to themselves.
You are happy
So
that
we
you
don't know
are
what
you
will
are happy
happen.
that they are bumping
Whether-
heads?
No. You know, me, I want success. I want Barrow to succeed and deliver to the Gambian people.
Uh-huh.
That does not extend his term. For me, it does not extend his term. When his term comes to an end, it will come to an end. But Gambians need to move to improve their livelihoods.
Okay.
So anything that would add value to Gambian people's life, I am in support. I don't wish him to fail.
Okay. Well, he recently hired
But
my
he will have to
party.
fail.
He recently hired my party again after all the saga. You are laughing.
You see?
You are laughing.
Yes.
What is funny?
Yeah. You see, it's politics. It's politics that makes it funny. But politicians must always know that the interest of the people must be at the forefront at all times.
Uh-huh.
That's what's usually missing.
Uh-huh.
And the people must take their destiny into their own hands. And despite your political affiliation, put checks on politicians. Even if we are APRC, and an APRC government is in place, it's supposed to deliver. And it's not delivering. Be on check on them, or you get out, or you encourage people to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Until they correct it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but that's what he said.
Barrow
Barrow said he's the boss driver. Barrow said he's the boss driver and he's gonna drop some people along the way. So he's dropping people and getting new passengers.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
That's true. He's dropping. But if you dropping a passenger who should have paid you 1 million and you go and take a passenger for $10, you become the loser.
So you take how about in my Fati's case though? What do you think of my Fati's reappointment?
No. I'm just it's a general advice.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping and picking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a general advice based on that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how about my Fati though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I credit Mike for one thing. When he was Minister of Interior,
mm-hmm.
it was a time that we had it most difficult with our people.
Mm-hmm.
Constant arrest, court, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I call Mike, and anytime I call him,
mm-hmm.
he takes his call, I visit, we sit down, dialogue, and discuss on issues,
mm-hmm.
agree or disagree, and solve some, and some we continue.
Mm-hmm.
He opened, and that I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
People have refused to see me,
mm-hmm.
but I engage him, and anytime I engage him, it was positive. I remember, in fact, one day he was even to go with the president outside the country in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him that there may be fire before you come back.
Mm-hmm.
We agreed to meet early hours of the morning at Gambia and all these things, and he came out. And we met, and it was discussed just there, and it means we are able to resolve the problems, and he gave the various and we went away. So I appreciated that. And some people don't want me to say, don't want me to thank Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Which I cannot do, I will have to.
Mm-hmm.
He opened his doors for me anytime I engage him and we dialogue. Sometimes we disagree,
mm-hmm.
but we are able to talk about issues.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what is important.
Mm-hmm.
That much I appreciate. That much I appreciate, and I will ever talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You think he should have taken the position again when Barrow, of course, the way he was fired, it brought a lot of talk to the country and finally he was called back to be the presidential advisor, and even recently he was seen at the courthouse, Ya Kumba's court hearing, and a lot of people are saying that he was there to represent the president. You think him coming back is what will that do for Barrow? Or should he have accepted the appointment in any case?
I may not know that. I may not know that.
Okay.
I know Mike has his own political party.
Okay.
And I know it's a coalition government.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all what led to his removal is still uncertain. But one thing probably President Barrow, why he would act to get him back or these things, he might have seen some things positive that would add value to to enable him achieve what he wants to achieve. So I think that will be, because I want to believe that if my would be negative and would not add value to what he wants, etc., he will not even think about it. So I only wish that they are able to do, Allah is able to guide them to be able to deliver and improve and impact on the life of Gambian. Yes, that much. And this repatriation to stop.
Thank you very much, Honorable Fabakary.
Gambians alone.
Thank you very much, Fabakary Tombong Jatta. Your final words to our listeners.
Yeah, I just want to thank the Gambia Talents TV. I want to thank, when I came in the studios here, I observed that they are not only dealing with information dissemination, but they are empowering youths in various forms, giving them skills, helping them practicalize some of their theories at schools, and a lot of things they are happening. So I was even wondering, I said, how are you going to sustain this good job? Are people plowing money for it to be sustainable? And he told me, it's only our proprietor who is in the US, and some other people may here and there. I said, but I think we should be able to market these things. But what I observed here, what I have seen you do, I'm so much impressed. I'm so much impressed. And I definitely would advocate or anybody who can throw in this weight, financially, whatever, to this institution. You have a lot of Gambians benefiting from it. That aside, I want to thank the listeners and thank the entire membership of the APRC and telling them that the nationwide tour, APRC, to Basse, for the provinces, road to Basse, is almost coming next month. And from that tour, it will no longer be a secret for Gambians to know who is who in this country. And we want to urge them to continue to discipline, to love each other, to help each other, and to strive for a living. Let's continue to be each other's brothers keepers, and continue to pray for the good of Gambia. So once again, thank you, Osman, and the Gambia Talent. Thank you to all listeners. And let's Gambians, let's try to go above partisan politics. Let's love our country. Let's pardon each other. Let's move towards integrating Gambia. Gambia, we are a peculiar country. In some other countries, people don't know each other. Others live in one part, others live in one part. They don't even know or see each other. Gambia is a tiny one. Everybody knows each other. Everybody is even interrelated. So let's see what's the best way forward for the country. Nothing can bring change what has happened. We only to learn from it and see how we improve and go forward. So I want to urge Gambians to love each other, to pardon each other, to put aside political differences or regional or tribal differences. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Fabakary Tombong Jatta, party leader of the APRC. Of course, Mr. Jatta, we cannot thank you enough. He's been in our studios for the past 5 hours and patiently waiting for us for over an hour, and we have him here for more than 3 hours, almost 4 hours as well. This is a maiden interview. All of these issues should have been talked about the APRC. Those of you that are following us, this will give a record. This will create a record about the APRC and what they have been up to. We've heard from the party leader, interim party leader himself. Of course, while Yaya Jammeh is gone, a lot of the issues that we talked to Fabakary about, hope they are clear to you now, and hope it gives you another dynamic of the APRC. We definitely thank him. It's unfortunate that we couldn't read a lot of your comments today, just because the show was saturated with too many questions, and we were hungry to get Fabakary's side. We've been hearing a lot of sides about the APRC and all the things that we discuss. So in order to avoid wasting any more time, I have even seen some calls. Then some people text to say, I want to call, or can you pick up my call? I apologize to you guys for not being able to pick up your calls, simply because we just needed to take all of these things. Hopefully next time we might be able to open the lines to hear your questions or comments that you want to put across. But thank you guys very much for hanging in there for almost 4 hours to listen to us or watch this show. And thanks to Fabakary Tombong Jatta and the APRC and your PR for actually facilitating this interview. Hopefully this will continue to help us create awareness and get authentic information from our leaders and our leaders to be. I've said it the last time, the biggest challenge that we have as media personnel and journalists is access to information. If we have this information, we can always reference to Fabakary. Had my interview that I did with Lysen. I had like all the other 10 NAMs that I interviewed at the time. We keep records of these things for the future, for our youth, for our children, for our kids. It's important that we do this thing. So we thank you very much for watching us and listening to us. If you have not liked our Facebook page yet, go ahead and like it, Gambian Talents Promotion. If this is your first time following us on YouTube, Gambian Talents Promotion, you can also subscribe to our channel. It will help you get access to information on and for and about the Gambia at any point, any day, any time. We thank you all for watching. We thank you for listening. Please don't forget to actually subscribe to our channel. If you are following us on Facebook, if you look on the next to the comment section on the right side, you will see a green button with a love sign. If you click on it, it will take you to a secure link where you can contribute to us for $5 a month. You'll be able to support us, be able to sustain the institution. Always, as I always say, we want to be your eyes that we look through. We want to be your mouth that we speak with, and we want to be your ears that we listen with. As a result, information is very expensive, and we would appreciate if you support us. Next to your comment sections as well, you will see the PayPal account number that I have listed. You can actually click on our PayPal link and donate to us, and you can also donate to us through the Gambia. 7833524 is the number to dial if you want to donate to Gambian talents in the Gambia. 7833524. No amount is too small. We will appreciate any single amount that you want to donate us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Please share the video till we come your way next week. Bye bye. And this was the Nyohobai show with Pa Ousmane Group. Thank you very much.
Gambian Talent TV.
Reliable.
Reliable. promotionable everythingable Gambian Talent promotion.
Bulu comme koy nekk bulu. Ni mu stupide trop ko la bulu.
Maa ngi lu ma ci lu jàngal.
Gambian Talent promotion. Ci mu nakat.
Dañoo tënk.
La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian Talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian Talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian Talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah.
Talama wayla di la jobe waywi amna mana lolu leer na ma Gambian Talent ma wayla di la jobe sa waywi amna mana lolu leer na ma yangal ngama ma waji yangal ngama de bo yaay tay to yaay barki de bo yaay te di alat ne babaliw fa ta ko ta fa daw fa nga sa kanam na seen to sa ginaaw ma say xala de ken do dem bala wa assalamu alaykum wa Gambian Talent dama wax ne la ku bëgg cuuraay rek ñëwal fii ci biir kër gi di Gambian Talent man day cuuraay maa leen defar cuuraay bu neex ci biir kër gi di Gambian Talent man na xoolal cuuraay ju neex fii la ci biir Gambian Talent lekk ko lañ bu neex fii la ci biir kër gi jàmm ak salaam fii la ci biir kër gi namuñu salaamaaleykum namuñu Papa Ndiaye nag ñun lu ñu namu lu nekk rek ci biir kër gi Gambian Talent la salaamaaleykum